Ready for it.
Started. God, I think I will remember most of it because I spent a lot of time just thinking about D&D when I couldn't play D&D.
I feel
Figuring
like
out.
that's the sad statement most D&D players make.
Hey, that's the life. That's the life, baby.
What is
Once you
this
can't do
map
something.
I'm looking at on roll 20?
Oh, this was the map from the last session that we played where Jared slash Duradon
Ah,
was
the
going
one I
through his
missed.
little yes.
Crap.
Duradon went through a little self-training arc after he got normalized, humanized, whatever you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
call
I
it.
listened to it.
Summonerized.
I hate this
Yeah.
island. Whatever it is, I hate it.
Why? It's just an island, man. Um no, but I can drag it back since the main party is on Paradise Peak. Whoop, boop, 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 boop. Oh no, don't drag the island to Paradise Peak. Drag the party to Paradise Peak. That'd be funny. Or Duradon got hit with a normie beam. So true. I was an adventurer like you once before I got took a normie beam to the knee. All right. So, what happened last time and the many, many last times before us? We'll go back a little bit further so that we can get a total recap. We saw the adventures of New Baranoso, coming to a strange island, being pursued by people who the majority of the public is none the wiser that they're walking the plane. And looking for aid, you stumbled upon a crime syndicate known as the Whispers of the Wind. A somewhat religious esque, uh, semi front, whereas there is a legitimate business of clerics and priests. And also underneath that building is a large network of criminals, killers, assassins, and more importantly, where you found some much needed work and potentially upon your return, some much needed allies. You went through the process of, speaking of Father Robert, and you had a job set up where it was an extraordinarily dangerous mission, and you wouldn't be paid for it because this was your initiation. And that job was to break into the Dambala estate and kill a squealer, essentially. Someone who had information on one of the crime syndicate's members and was going to make a deal with the Council of Paradise Peak to specifically set themselves free from their bind, and fuck over as many people as they could in the process. As you don't really get to make deals just by ratting out one criminal. So taking out an entire network definitely would have been something that the party and Paradise Peak would have heard of if you hadn't been successful. It didn't look great for you. You started off rough, multiple natural ones, a lot of iffy plans, but eventually you managed to make your way into the vault, where you stole, I believe, 2 successful working watches, and the head of James. Uh, James, of course, being the herald that you all met 9 months ago, roughly, when you originally fought by the docks, the last survivor who was taken in as prisoner, and Maeve essentially kind of kept as an indentured servant slash working off the life debt at her house. But with him dead, a big sigh of relief was let out. You and Ivar, who turns out was revealed to be the person who was about to be exposed because he was the one running that specific section of Herald's down by the docks. And he doesn't really have that much of a public image opposed to his brother does. So you saved his ass, and in the process, as you were leaving the estate, you had your ass thrown to the ground multiple times in a violent display of power by one Jordan Dambala, Maeve's grandfather, who was uh, never really shown to be a kind person in the past. But as players, you got to see the dark side of the Dambalas, as even though you saw them specifically Maeve fight in a arena before, you never really gauged the full morality slash line of what the more elderly slash long-lived members of the family presented themselves as. And Joradon's was straight violence as long as you didn't give the answers he was looking for. And which props to new, because you really didn't for at least 5 lifetimes. And eventually got so bad that your mental was breaking, and now we have 2 members of the party that are slightly mentally impaired. With the, I believe, the downside of having a sanity point removed. Which it doesn't really have any major effects until you get to a certain number. But during this process, you made friends with the Monarch of Mischief as your sponsor, your own backer. Couldn't really do anything, as she mentioned that she was too far disconnected from the prime material plane. And her power being limited, she could communicate with you, but couldn't pull any divine intervention or miracles out of her pocket to save you. But she said an item on your person had a connection to not a deity, but a creature of great power, and she could get you an audience if they were willing to talk. And boy, is this Monarch of Mischief collecting party members like Pokemon cards. As you got a rather rough deal, not quite as equal standing as Duradon's, and not quite as beneficial as the 6. But she did save your life. And your life is now very much in her hands because of that. You were teleported out in a whiff of smoke, and that same smoke came out of Mustang, who was still letting the edge cool off in the library after having his own encounter with Amos not but 2 days ago. Still feeling the after effects of the mind-bending, hallucinogenic trip you were put on, and also the straight-up life and death encounter, and then the other attempt on your life by none other than yours truly, Belle, the somewhat previous friendly part of your past that poked its head back into the picture. Luckily, she needed you alive. For one reason or another, a bounty is on your head. And you've done a lot of things in your time, so you couldn't really put one to another as to who put it on or for what purpose. But clearly it was personal, because a lot of people will take bodies cold, but they wanted yours warm. So you got revivified, and you were being dragged out before the librarian saved you, and for all intents and purposes, banished Belle into the Shadow Realm. Or Brazil, who knows. But she and all of the belongings on her person are gone for the moment. Until the vassals and sponsors who were pretty busy dealing with a lot of threats at once, some caused by you, some caused by others, couldn't immediately go for interrogation. so she's just sitting in stasis for the moment. Mammoth, tagging along with Mustang, was sitting in the room where you decided begrudgingly to take the feathered friend that had come reeling out of you onto the table, seeing him half dead, and brought him down to get cured up below by Tess, the overworked and constantly tired nurse slash cleric. A rough recovery was had, but it was a recovery. New lived with some pretty noticeable changes. Specifically, the right ear's taking a little bit more time to heal after it had gotten torn off. But the rest of the body and the face and all of the various lumps and bruises were recovering slowly. Meanwhile, Kipley was going through her own little journey. For once, a much more relaxing one after leaving the Kroll manor behind. You left your captivity, went into the city after lying about where you came from, as per usual, snuck away from some guards, and ended up having a conversation with Cyrus, where you went on this little trip into a very familiar territory of the very same Whispers of the Wind crime syndicate, as Cyrus essentially gave you an option. You told her a bunch of things that she didn't want to know, and you didn't want to know, and she knows, well, a handy woman who could get rid of memories permanently, but she could also alter them, change scenarios, and that much. And well, you met this strange figure who stared at you like you looked familiar, but you have no idea who she was. And it turned out Ria Akashan, actually a family friend at one point. Not to you, but had known your parents, and which you learned the shocking news that living on a crime-ridden, really rugged and rough dweller barely by name tends to create rough jobs. Sketchy ones at the very best. And apparently, sometime far into the past, they had crossed paths. Your mother being a runner, not for the Whispers of the Wind, as it wouldn't be classified as that all those years ago. Had done work for a few different guilds at the time. And in doing so, she offered you the best that she could, which was, I would believe, roughly around 2,000 gold, to essentially edit an hour's worth of your memory to make it seem like the actions that you were kind of forced to undertake were actually having you forced to take it. No deals or positives for you, but just a powerful creature forcing you to do something you didn't want to. After taking some time and in a normal Kipley fashion, you said, fuck all of that shit. I would do my own thing. End up leaving without getting any of the levels of exhaustion restored, and headed off into the city to potentially leave. But after having a conversation with Cyrus, decided that there was too much at stake now. In the past, Kipley might have gone, but now having friends, and specifically ones whose lives are potentially in danger, you got an anchor to Paradise Peak, so you stayed behind and went to go look for Duradon. In which you made your way back to the guild. You had an encounter in the library with the librarian who offered you a trade. You returned your books on time, so she was happy. And you had a question about Ravinica, the island that you were supposed to eventually go to. For whatever reason, is still unknown. as the Bone Mother specifically said way back when. You'll know your purpose once you get there. So, you decide to do some research. And while Ravinica didn't turn up anything, even with an extraordinarily good roll on the librarian's part, there was a similar story of a moving island. They're pretty rare in terms of magical beings, creatures, or phenomenon in the world, even in this kind of chaotic age. So, looking around, she's found a book. And I believe it was called The End of Beginning.
That's
A
what I have written down.
Mhm. A strange tale of a different world than this. Not sure how much it's set in fiction or non-fiction, but an island that moved about trying to cleanse. Whether that was the land, the people on it, a disease, monsters, mayhem, whatever the real purpose of it, lost in translation. But in the fairy tale and the brief bit that you learned, the island had lost its way, lost its mission, purpose, direction, whatever you like to call it. And started to destroy instead of cleanse properly. And it went by a different name of Aphelion. Now, you don't have a proper picture of this yet, but you had a stand-in image of what you could guesstimate it to look like. A hulking stone island with legs that stretched to the near bottom of the sea. And after all of this research, you had basically more questions than answers, but were granted a pleasant bit of respite. As you were given a private room, thanks to kind of making friends with a creature that's hard to right off the bat, since eerie, undead, kind of creepy vibes from both of you created a strange, almost friendship, or some sort of bond in which she gave you what you would probably guess to be her own private room to sleep in, which, whether through magical means of being in a pocket dimension, enchantments, or whatever, acted as almost like a soundproof barrier. But not just so, as Kipley lied there, falling asleep and taking away some of those exhaustion points. You found that you also had a bit of mental respite here. The voices of others no longer clashing with your own, and you got a good night's rest. Meanwhile, Normie Durdon was going through hell, still trying to figure out why his powers were not working like they used to before. Dun. And he was struggling with the Monarch of Mischief's strange playfulness, we'll call it. Their unique relationship still not quite settled, as he did agree to work with her. But she wasn't able to fix someone like him right off the bat. As she explained, someone who had been awakened previously by their own means couldn't be awakened again by a creature like her. So she had to play some mental gymnastics to get him back into a mental state where he could try and reignite whatever spark was left within him. And after knocking him unconscious, and through clever use of the dream spell, started putting dirt on through a sort of trial, having him fight whatever was stopping his ability to rage, become the barbarian savage hunter that he had always been once more. And the fight started off brutally, without any proper weapons or really anything besides a scalpel, which is the last thing he remembered having as a weapon. He got pummeled in the first fight against the creature known as Pride, one of the sins of the Monarch of Mimics that you had fought when you tried to leave the island. He had lost the battle the first time, come back the second, but also a new voice filled his head. Familiar and friendly one. I remember I spelled this out beforehand, but I may butcher it now. Sorry, Jared, if you're listening. I believe Rushnia. Rushnia. We'll call it that for now. But the wife of the previous druid that took a hold in his head, Antreus, and someone who was a bit like a mother figure to him. And it turned out all Duradon really needed was some therapy. As she had a conversation with him, asked him what he wanted out of his life goals, not something that he found as responsibility or a duty that he had to others. And for the change in perspective, allowed him to reattain his old abilities and got a sneak peek at some new ones. As it looks like Duradon no longer has a need for physical weapons anymore. After which, it looked like he was on his way to return to the island. And it looks like we're going to start somewhere about there. In terms of timeline, we've been moving at a snail's pace for both missing sessions, and also having to deal with heavy RP during which sessions that we actually had. But today is that threatened third day. You had been warned by both the DM and in-game that you only really had 3-ish days at best before the investigation looking into the attack on the Renel's dweller. The questioning of Duradon and Kipley for being involved in it, since you had directly reached out to your sponsor to save you from the aftermath. And also the investigation into the assault by multiple parties on Mustang Strums. And also the beginning of the meeting of the monarchs. As warned by the Monarch of Mischief, she said her siblings were joining together to have a meeting amongst each other, and that you all would be discussed in it of whether you get to live or die. No pressure. So as we start off today, we will pick up where we left off in the bright fucking early morning, where I believe Hipley had arrived outside of her room into the common area of the library, where the immediate connection of Ria Akashan and the night. Ooh, that was just the night prior for you. Yeah, that was the night prior. Oof, rough day for the 6. I believe the night prior, you had been told about someone who might know a little something about the island you're looking for. At least you mentioned Ravinica, and she had mentioned that a man in full cloak of raven feathers and a paler dark elf had come through not but a few hours earlier. And as you arrive, you can see New sitting up top in the common area of the library with this uh, roughly 4 foot long dire raven, kind of crouched on one shoulder, giving an absolute beady eye at Mammoth, who, if we all remember last time, was cussing out Deshad in Crow, essentially. Speak with Animals had some beef, and you learned that, hey, man, being a Disney princess does not mean that it's a benefit. You just get to hear all the bickering and bitching of a not so happy Raven Crow person. You're not really sure. For all intents and purposes, the spell did its thing, and you had a conversation. You can also see that New is currently still wrapped in some bandages, so it looks like they've taken some hits, or at least have been through some sort of carnage recently. But you do see the rest of your party is there, at least most of your party, in the form of the 2 members sitting before you. Duradon's still unaccounted for, and, well, after you parted ways with Cyrus, I don't believe she specified where and or when she would be meeting up again. All she said was she had to take care of some business. So for the moment, the 3 members of the 6 and New are currently gathered up common area in the library as it's roughly about, we'll call it 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, Kipley, like, steps out of wherever the fuck she just came out of.
Literally, a wall that looks like it has no door just opens. And from this perspective, Mammoth, you'd be the first one to see it, as Mustang kind of have to turn your head a little to the right as Kipley just walks out of a wall. And you were told that she was staying here. You just weren't told where.
Oh. Hey, guys. I was really hoping you'd be out here, but I really wasn't sure where you'd be. Why, you don't look good. She's gonna walk over to probably Mammoth first and just look him over, and while looking over at Mustang. Are you guys alright?
Well, I'm fine, but nobody else is.
You see Mimus' clothes are a little singed and tattered, but otherwise the wounds have pretty much all but healed after a night's rest.
She kind of like, her fingers play over your face, like kind of pulling your head side to side, looking you over. Yeah, alright, you do look fine. Okay. Alright, what happened? What happened? I've been looking everywhere for you guys. Do you know what's been going on?
I think we were both hoping that you could illuminate us, Miss Kipley. I would have looked for you, but I haven't been allowed to leave for a certain period of time, but it seems you were in a similar situation. From what Duradon told me.
Oh, fuck.
Where's
Duradon? Oh, no! You don't know where he's at either?
No. He made it sound like you 2 might have been together at some point.
What, you're saying that
you
really
should
weirdly.
talk first. Because I've had a very rough go of it lately, and I'm starting to get the sense that it's not about to get any better. So please, just start talking. Tell me where you've been.
Well, yes. Oh, okay. Yeah. I've, been around town a bit. Walking around maybe going a bit underground. All right, look, here's the deal. Shit's really hit the fan, like really badly.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Can you be more specific?
I don't know if it's, I want to be, but I'm afraid I might implicate you in things that you don't want to be implicated in. And
well, he's already in trouble.
Yeah, I am in plenty of my own trouble, and that is shockingly
really?
considerate of you, Kipley. Thank you. I don't need to be in any more trouble. That is not an invitation to get me into more trouble.
I'd like to know.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I'm curious.
Do not implicate him either.
Oh. All right. Well,
No, that's okay. You can implicate me. I don't mind.
So, okay. Doradon and I kind of got wrapped up into something. It might have involved some high-level people in, on the island.
If you want to have this conversation, do it without me. Tell me what you can tell me, and if there's anything I can do to help you, maybe, or help Duradon, seeing that he is still missing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you want to help, if you want to find Duradon, that would be great. Well,
and you're just going to say this to me blankly? Do you have any leads?
Well, I think last I heard he was somewhere like in a military hospital or something.
Yeah, he's like stuck in his room for 3 days and we can't see him or something.
Yeah, that's what he said, but
something like that. I don't know.
It's been 3 days since then, I'm pretty sure.
Oh.
DM, has it been 2 days or 3 days since that happened?
Today is the 3rd day.
Okay. So I suppose we could go see him if we really needed to. Hopefully he's not moving quickly. We're certainly not.
I mean, we need to find him. Like, he's kind of in a lot of trouble.
Oh.
Is it the same trouble that you're in?
Maybe.
Okay, well, you can be direct about this one.
Oh, okay. So we kind of met up with Lorna Dane, and she
took
us to see about.
Mustang's gonna cover his ears and just start going la 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 la.
All right. Wait. Who the fuck is that? I'm just gonna point over towards
and as you start as you stop yourself from spilling secrets, you do again take notice of the man sitting right across from you. Is New, kind of looking. How does New look actually after having this kind of semi-bitched conversation with Desaad over what you want to do with the people who ridiculed you after you almost died?
He actually doesn't have any kind of expression on his face. It's just kind of blank right now.
Yeah.
Stone cold killer.
He just looks dead.
Who is that?
He's like a assassin.
Yeah, his name's New.
Like,
I coughed him up, so we're related somehow.
His bird's an ass. Just if you were wondering.
So old and ass.
Yeah, and assassin.
Why is he here?
I coughed him up, which means somehow we're related. Oh wait, I think actually.
What? You
no, he explained it to me. I remembered. Somehow, with the Monarch of Mischief, we're related to one another. So
I was gonna remind everyone because it's been a while. You did get a message from the Monarch of Mischief.
I did. I remember
that he is going to be important.
Call.
Yeah.
Wait.
I think she said you can do whatever you want to him. Just run it by her first. Because she essentially said he's not on the same level as you guys in terms of my favor.
The Monarch of Mischief told you that this person is related to you, but you have no clue who this person is.
Well, not related. We're related through the Monarch of Mischief, as in we both perhaps owe her a favor. Yes, we're all friends.
I mean, that could just be anyone that met them, right?
Sure, but I'm not really in a position to be making demands of her. So if she says, keep this guy with you, he's important, I'm going to say, yes, ma'am. Can I get anything else for you? And
Kipley,
call it a day.
Kipley
I
like
think maybe we
lays a
should ask
hand on
her.
her, I'm sorry, on Mustang's arm, and just is like, I am so happy to hear you say that. Really,
Why?
well, it's nice to have someone else that, feels that way. That the monarch, kind of has us in a, you know, titty twist or whatever you want to call it. The, you know, well, we don't really get a choice in the matter. It's just they say what we do and we just kind of do it.
No, I did have a choice in the matter. I needed her help, and I knew it was going to cost me. I did have a choice. I made that choice, and
Oh,
now I'm living with it.
oh, so you're actually worse than me. All right. Well, that's all right.
Wait, what?
We're still
Hold
party
on.
members. I fully accept you
Excuse
as you
me.
are.
Excuse me. Where is this coming from? Kimberly, I think all circumstances considered here, I have been mighty respectful of all you fine folk, and now you're coming at me sideways for what?
No, no, I'm coming at you full frontal.
Oh, great. Where is this hostility coming from?
Oh no, this isn't hostility. I just want you. I want you to know that I feel like we're all in the same boat. She's kind of like rolling her arms in a circle, encompassing everyone. We're all in the same boat. We're all in a team, and all right. Here's the deal. I think we've all really fucked things up, and we're just trying to survive. And in the process, we might have just made things worse. And at some point, we need to stop thinking of things as, and we need to do things together and start thinking of each other and start trying to pave a way forward.
Has nobody else been doing that?
That's what I've been trying to do this whole time. I'm glad
You have?
Yes, I'm
Well,
glad
then who
it's
the
finally...
fuck is this that you're related to and I don't know anything about?
That's why I said we should ask Mrs. Mischief. Because she's the one putting us all here, so why don't we talk to her about it?
No, Mustang. Mammoth. She,
Yeah.
rests her hands on your cheeks. No, look. Mischief, the monarch, bad. Very bad.
I disagree.
What? No, don't fall for her. She's no good for you. Really.
Okay, time out. You say Monarch of Mischief is no good. I'm not going to disagree with you, but I would love to hear why you think that.
Do you really? Because I feel like you've made it quite clear you don't want to hear.
Does it have to do with the trouble that you're in?
Probably, yeah, like 99.999%. Yes.
Okay. Kipley?
Yeah?
Go ahead and tell us what happened. Just go ahead and do it. I'm going to have faith that whatever you did with Duradon, and whatever trouble's going to fall on you, it's all you guys. So just lay it out.
When you say it like that, it doesn't feel like a team thing, but fine. She's gonna sit down, crisscross applesauce, and she's just, she'll explain everything that happened.
Are you gonna tell them everything?
Yeah.
Including how you killed a bunch of people?
Mm-hmm. I mean, to her, it was something that happened as necessary. So, yeah, she's going to explain it as
So you leave out no detail, essentially.
Well, I mean, it'll be from Kipley's point of view. So, in her mind, it was very much Lorna Dane pushed them into, cornered them into this thing that they had to go do. And they wound up going to this place and that was not agreed upon. getting into this situation with someone that they all knew and felt they had to help rescue. They learned a bunch of shit about a bunch of high rollers on Paradise Peak that is not great
The druids.
and implicates all of them. And then
Right.
they wound up in even more shit with like Percy and all of his family, and it just all of that shill. Go ahead.
Do you mention Maeve? Specifically, how the daughter of the Monarch of Dragons was supposedly, because you have nothing to confirm this right now besides her word, supposedly involved in the murder, not death of Maeve, but murder of Maeve.
1000%.
Cool.
She,
so that is the
yeah.
first time that you two would be hearing about this. Or, excuse me, Mustang would be hearing about this. Mammoth has already heard this.
No, that is like her number one thing, actually, aside from the daughter of the monarchs or whatnot that we helped save, Evelyn.
Yeah, Evelyn Gray.
Yes. Like, that was probably secondary. Her main thing is this dragon bitch tried to murder Maeve.
Cool.
Or did.
Yeah, it's successful apparently. Cool.
Yeah, so she finishes all of that.
Yeah, you do your best to try and describe what happens towards the end of the encounter once you had essentially given over control to the Bone Mother, and your memory is a little hazy. It's one of those things where you were kind of there, but you weren't fully there at the same time. So you give them the best that you can, but you get essentially you get the gist, Cliff Notes version of the fight. At least your explanation is to the rest of everyone else.
The Kipley version.
Yeah.
It's pretty shitty, probably.
The Kip Notes, if you will.
Yeah.
Kip Notes. I like that.
Yeah. Do you mention the deal that was sort of the major reason behind you doing this?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Because, again, she feels justified in it.
Oh, for sure. The way you explain it in your head, it sounds reasonable, but it also gives a bigger explanation to Mustang and Mammoth as to why you did this. Because if you mention the benefits of the deal, of all of which you have not claimed, or didn't claim, rather, there's a little bit more understanding than saying they forced me to do it. But also, it does ring a familiar tune to New. That your newly acquired friend, patron, whatever you want to call her, had a similar-esque situation with Kipling. So you're starting to understand that a lot of these people are probably in the same boat as you.
It all kind of ties together.
Yeah, you're like, oh no, these guys aren't just like friends beforehand. These assholes were probably in trouble at some point and had similar outcomes as me. Your passives alone provide you with that information.
So, yeah.
It takes a while for her to catch you up because there is a lot of detail, but like, roughly around like 20-ish minutes later, Kip just kind of looks around for your reaction.
Is there any water around here? My mouth is really dry, so I'm kind of thirsty.
Oddly enough, no, it isn't.
Alright.
You're undead, girl.
Oh, that's right.
Your body doesn't need sustenance. Oh, that does remind me. I need you to go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh.
Kipling.
Oh.
As the morning arises.
13.
Anything above a 10, and you are a-okay.
13.
13. Cool.
Oh,
Don't worry about it. Continue.
Oh my god.
Stressing me out here.
I know.
All is good.
That's essentially what happened. For the most part, as best as I can recall.
I seem to recall, in the spirit of acting as a team, that we all agreed we weren't going to make any deals with Lorna Dane, who is apparently the Monarch of Mischief. Don't you remember that part?
No.
No. I remember everyone else saying no to her, despite the fact that I had just been, my soul stuffed in a jar, and then all of you laughing and going off on your own little adventure while I was just, was taken down into her chambers. None of you fucking know what happened. You didn't even ask.
We haven't really had much of a chance to, but it seems like... Would you like us to ask? Would you like to share what happened in that jar?
I don't fucking know what happened.
There we have it. All right. Glad we could put a bow on that one.
But, something happened. She, raises her arms, looks down at her own body. I don't know what, but this... I mean, someone doesn't just, take your body and do something with it for an hour or so and then it's like, oh, okay, here you go, you can have it back. No hard feelings.
Well, apparently Lorna Dane does. And, well, the Monarch of Mischief, which I regrettably owe to some favors to now, which...
Oh, do
I
you?
knew all this
Do
before.
you? Oh, it's okay. I feel for you. I'm here for you if you want to talk about it.
No, I fucking don't. Of course I don't. And I don't think you really do either, because we're both in these giant shit piles, albeit yours is much larger than mine. And I know we're supposed to be a team shit pile, but...
Okay.
He pauses, and he takes a deep breath. I'm trying to be sympathetic to what you've gone through, but I'm finding it to be a little difficult.
It's okay. That's okay. I don't need you to be sympathetic. A little empathy won't kill you, but at the same time, I think the giant shit pile that we've made here is, something quite impressive, and the whole point of a team is, to deal with the pile as a team, because none of us can deal with this amount of shit on our own, so we just kind of has to... We need help. We need help, and I can't do any of this without any of you, so... I'm absolutely willing to do whatever needs to be done. I'm willing... Whatever you guys want to do. It's just... I feel like there isn't a small bit of, immediate necessity with us still missing Duradon. And wherever the fuck Reese is.
So why do we hate the Monarch? Because I'm still not following. I don't know what the problem here.
She's awful. She's awful. You can't trust her. Her name is literally Monarch of Mischief. She literally wants to just make chaos, which generally I'm alright with, but it's not really been gelling with us that great. We've kind of been mucking it up.
I think that I'd rather deal with her than anybody else.
Well, who else? Honest. Who else have you dealt with that you don't want? That you'd take over?
Were you not listening to her entire story? About it being one big lie from the Monarch of Mischief?
No, but... Well, yes, I was listening. But I still think that... she's at least... I just don't like the sponsors anymore. I was always kind of... I never really understood them. there was always something kind of strange that I didn't get, but I figured it's just because I don't know a lot of things. But I thought that watching all that video and seeing all that was kind of not something that I think is good for us.
Okay.
I think that we can maybe, I think we'd be better off if we weren't
Okay.
maybe tied to them.
No,
And
this is great.
I like the Monarch of Mischief because she's, she did lie to us at the beginning, but I feel like she's been clear with us since then, I think.
I approve of you coming out with an opinion. I love it. I really do. This is great. And you know what? I don't disagree with you because, as much as I love my sponsor, okay, as much as I appreciate what she's done for me thus far, and I have to admit, she kind of, actually, she kind of saved my ass. I was pretty much drowning, about ready to drown at the bottom of the ocean. She saved me, but, actually, now that I say that, yeah, it was pretty much Lorna Dane that put me in that position. Well, I kind of flew. It doesn't matter. She kind of stuck her neck out for me, and of all the sponsors, she's the one I trust the most. But that doesn't mean I trust anyone in power here. The people I trust the most are the ones that have shown me kindness.
Yeah.
And that's mostly been Maeve's mother. And my sponsor. And that's pretty much all I can... That's all I can bring to the table. That's really all I have.
Well, then we should go work for her. Because, I mean, my sponsor is a nice lady. But I don't,
Well, I definitely think mine has some dark dealings. She's very fucking creepy, but in the same respect, I'm also kind of attached to a very creepy, entity. So I don't know if I'm really the best judge of that. Also, I'm sorry, what was your name again? She looks over towards New.
New Baron Uso.
Right. They brought you in here. You look awful.
Grins a little bit out of one corner of his mouth. But thank you.
You got a lot of feathers going on there. Any reason why? You just like them?
Yes.
Those are cool.
I do.
What are you doing here?
I wish I knew. Well, what Mustang told you is all true. He somehow coughed me up, and here I was. I made a deal with the Monarch of Mischief that you guys have been talking about for the last 30 minutes. And this Monarch brought me to you guys, so...
Right, so my head hurts. I think, so we have to find Duradon, right?
Yeah.
I think we should do that first. I think we should ignore this other conversation. And we should try to find Duradon.
Okay.
Because that's, I think, a problem we can solve.
Agreed.
So what do we do?
Well, hold on. It sounds like if Duradon is at a military hospital and he's in the same ship aisle, I think we're going to have a tougher time getting to him than we might have originally reckoned.
Yeah. Okay. Kipley, it's your turn now.
Whoa, okay, right. Yeah, but, so, normally we have smarter people here that take this part of the conversation on. I don't know how smart it is for my face to be out there. And she kind of points towards the general city of Paradise Peak in just very general terms.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think, as much as we would want to go get dirt on, I don't think that's the safest idea right now. Between the people that are looking for you and the separate microcosm of people that are looking for me, I think going on a manhunt is going to end with us being the prey. Besides, I still need to go talk with the guards this morning. I'm not going to be much use without my gun.
Right.
Where's your gun?
That is another very long story that I'm not sure you want to hear, but
I mean,
Mustang's its own personal shit pile.
No, we don't have personal shit piles anymore. We have one big shit pile. Just one big one that we're all going to deal with. Unless you don't want to be a part of this shit pile.
Some lady took it and then the librarian banished her and we don't really know where it is.
You got banished by the library?
I did not get banished. My ex did, and she happened to have my gun on her when she was banished. There.
Yeah, he also had a date with some old friend, but it didn't
Please,
go well.
Mammoth, that is enough.
Wow, you're bringing a lot of old relationships into this shit pile. Okay.
Yes, I've gotten around.
That's alright. That's just, you're just bringing a lot of colour to the shit pile. It's good.
Please. I'm not a kid. You don't have to console me. I know what I got going on here.
So guys, I think I might freak out if we don't do something soon, because I've been in this library for 3 days and I've been doing nothing, and I just feel like we should start walking in some direction.
Yeah, so I did that. I actually did that not too long ago, and it did not. It was not a good idea. That's actually what almost ended with me at the bottom of the ocean. So, lessons learned.
I like you a whole lot, but I think that one's probably on you. I don't know how smart it was to go flying over the ocean, but there's like streets and stuff out there. So, and like people.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we'll be fine there. But that's good. Do you have anything else?
Mostly just I've kind of told you everything, and everyone knows that we're all a team, and if they're looking for me, or if Dardon's escaped, thank God, but they know they know we're a team together. So you can't just go walking down the street.
What if we get disguises?
Mammoth.
What?
Right now.
Yeah.
I need you to exercise an important virtue, that is patience.
Oh.
When I used to break horses off of Paradise Peak, when we had young horses, we would take them and we'd tie them to a post and we'd leave them there. And they'd kick and they'd wail and they'd scream until they just calmed down. And then once they calmed down, we untied them. Do I need to tie you to the Mammoth?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait.
He actually looks quite excited about this as he gets out his lasso.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
tie me up.
All right, patience post it is. He's gonna start tying up Mammoth.
Kipley's like crouching down next to kind of Neo for a moment and just like, this is really weird. It's like really weird.
You hog tie the child?
No, we're not hog tying the child. He's gonna tie it so it's kind of like a harness, so you can keep him on a monkey backpack leash.
Oh, fuck
okay.
yes.
So like an actual like child harness.
Yes.
Cool. Go ahead. I assume Mammoth isn't resisting. Go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand check then.
Oh. All right.
Let's just see how well the job you do when tightening them up. Not that high.
An 11.
Cool. It's
Above
DC
average.
DC 10. It's functional. You have a strong feeling that if even a child wanted to break out of this, he really could, because it's not meant to hold him. It's just meant to just act as like a little leash, a little child leash. But it'll hold as long as he doesn't tug too hard, or if he decides to hop on a broom.
It's the same with horses. They could totally break out of the leash if they wanted to, but it's the mental confines of the harness that keeps them there.
Yeah, that'll work on a 9-year-old child.
Yeah,
Mental confines of the monkey leash backpack.
Okay, so it takes you like a minute or two to rope up Mammoth. During this time, does anyone here have a passive perception over 16?
I do.
Nope.
I do.
yeah.
Whoa, we're a perceptive bunch.
Ghibli not.
So everyone but Kipling? Fantastic. That's the normal.
Oh.
Okay, sorry. You hear there's not a massive commotion downstairs, but again, the door is open from the library to the guild hall, as it has stayed open throughout your entire stay here. And you just hear a little bit of commotion going on, like there's some murmuring and a lot of metal footsteps moving about during the time that Mammoth is being roped up. Excuse me, leashed. But you don't see anything unless you go to investigate.
Oh boy. You hear that? He kind of murmurs to Mammoth as he's tying up the leash.
Yeah, let's go see what's up.
No.
Yes.
No.
Why?
We're gonna do this smart. And when we're being smart, we gotta keep our cool. Okay? Don't be too eager.
Right, yeah.
Good.
Yeah,
You play it cool, Mammoth?
I think so.
Ghibli
Great.
leans in. What's going on? What are you whispering about?
We're gonna go check out what's going on soon.
There's a commotion downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
While they're
And
saying
sounds-
that, New will stand up and go walking towards the door.
No attempt to stealth, you're just gonna walk.
What?
Yeah.
Cool. You all see New get up and start walking towards the door.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm gonna go see what the commotion's all about.
See?
He's good at being stealthy, okay? I trust him. At least for
Me
that
too.
much. Let's go.
Ugh. Fine.
Who is headed for the doorway?
Me.
Stealthily. I think everyone.
Is it everyone?
Yeah.
Kipli's
Mammoth?
trailing along the back.
Mammoth, make me a stealth check with disadvantage. Everyone else, go ahead and make me a normal stealth check. As you're trying to not trip over yourself, being kid leashed up.
Well, wait. That's
16.
not quite right.
21.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow my inspiration. You know what? No, I'm not. I'm gonna take this like a man. I rolled a 9.
I think mine's a -6 on that, so
Oh
it's a
my
10.
god!
Wow.
It really isn't. Your stealth is +2.
Well, but I'm still exhaustion 3.
Oh, it is disadvantage. Go ahead and roll one more time for me, Kipley.
Okay.
And you too, Mammoth.
Oh, do I have disadvantage too?
Ah.
Mm-hmm. Just on this because you're in a harness
Oh,
and you're trying to be stealthy while a massive lasso is being held to you. Okay. That's funny that you always roll higher when you're at disadvantage than at advantage. So that's a 5, a 24, and what'd you roll, Mustang?
A 9.
9. Okay. Here's what happened. New, you said you were taking the lead, right?
Yeah.
As you make your way to the door of the stairs, the spurs cannot be silenced. You make your way to the top of the stairs and you look down and you can see there's roughly about 16, about 10 in full plate armor and 6 in a variety of different, what you can tell as some clerical, some looking a little bit more arcane in nature robes sitting behind them. But there is roughly an assortment of about 16 we presume to be guards, not bearing any insignia that's familiar to you, that are forming close to not charging up the stairs, but around the front entrance of the guild hall.
Do they look aggressive? Or are they relaxed?
You can make me a perception check. So it is about actually, no, go ahead and make me an insight check. You're within range.
Insight?
Yeah. Because 90 feet isn't too much when trying to. Oh well.
My perception would have been better.
Perception would have given you the chance to insight.
Gotcha.
It would have been insight check no matter what.
Okay.
It's hard to gauge, really, because again, they're not holding weapons actively at anything. It is more they're just kind of standing at attention. It looks like they're actively on duty, guarding. However, what is obvious to all of you is that they are not looking outside. They are weapons and facing in.
Like the weapons are facing away from us?
No.
They're facing towards us.
Normally the guards that are facing at the front of the entrance are facing out onto the street. These 16 are currently looking inside the building.
Oh.
So they're facing you.
Shit.
Calls coming from inside the house. And you hear a telephone go off.
New will kind of turn to the rest of them and just kind of whisper, "Not too sure about the rest of you, but I'm feeling a little uncomfortable at the moment."
Yeah, this doesn't look good.
No. I don't think there's any other fugitives being kept in here right now.
Is there another way out of here that you were aware of?
Not from the library. It's down there.
One entrance, one exit.
Shit.
Any
Well,
ideas?
If they're looking for us, they know where to find me at least. And I imagine they would come looking pretty shortly here. I don't know about the rest of you, but between what did you say? There was 3 suits of plate armor?
No, there's 10.
10 suits plate versus the 4 of us and me unarmed. I'm not liking our chances.
Yeah, that's not good. Okay. Okay, yeah, back up. So...
By the way, anyone with a perception over 12, which does include Kipley, you're all standing in a doorway at the top of the stairs. There's... With your stealth rolls, you know you've been seen. There's no doubt in your mind.
Are they moving with that knowledge?
Not currently. But it's one of those things like where there's no way that they didn't see us.
Okay. How about this? I was not present for any of the shenanigans that you all got involved in. Maybe us more innocent folk should go down there and try and see what's happening. How about it?
Don't know if I like the implications you're putting out there, as if I'm... As if I did something wrong. There?
You did.
What did I do wrong?
Kipley, just because we're sharing our shit pile right now does not mean you get to shirk personal responsibility. Neither do I. So, come on. I'm trying to help you here.
I would love help, but I don't really understand what it is I did wrong.
Kipley, you broke into the Rennell family vessel.
We didn't know it was a Rennell family vessel.
Okay,
well, no, okay, that's
it.
true. That's true. We did know we were stealing that. But that was to get Maeve back, and that's what Percy fucking wanted us to do.
That's his business. I don't give 2 flying shits about this Maeve.
He wanted us to break into his own fucking home.
Let him do it then. Let him bear the consequences. He's a big, powerful Nepo baby, and he can handle it.
That's true. We should have let him burn in hell.
Yeah, we should have. And honestly, you should have let Maeve too, because these people, the Dambalas, the Rennells, they can handle it. All of this Maeve shit, we're trying to get her back, this, that, and the other, has been way more trouble than it's worth. And what do we have to show for it? We've got no Maeve, we've got no gold, and now we're fugitives. Come on. And I'm going to try and help you out of this situation. But again, just a little bit of personal responsibility.
Well, so where are you guys having this conversation? Are you having it like right at the door?
Oh no, we
pulled back inside.
Yeah, we pulled back. We fell back.
I just needed clarification.
Yeah,
he's whisper yelling. If he had teeth, he'd be talking through his teeth.
No, I got it.
Yeah, no. Kipley kind of gets a little quiet for a moment, and her eyes kind of narrow a bit. Her ears kind of pull back. Are you saying you don't want to save Maeve?
I could take it or leave it. I don't know her. You're forgetting that I knew her for maybe a week. If it's something that you all wanted to do, I was happy to help. But this has just gotten way too far. Look at the position that we're in. Look at yourself. You almost drowned in the ocean.
Okay. Okay. What do you suggest in this moment?
The way I see it, is either A, we go down there and find out what's happening. B, run for the hills. Never come back to Paradise Peak ever again. Hopefully Duradon figures it out on his own. C, face the music.
I like C. But I think Kipley and Nu should hide.
I do too. And this is where I'd like to keep my own personal shit pop, because I've been running from my problems and all the consequences of my actions for all my life. And my legs are getting damn tired. So if the bill is coming due now, I'd rather just pay and get it done.
Yeah, but you're not just paying your bill, you're paying mine and Doradon's and Lorna Dane Newman's.
If that's what it takes to get this shit over with, then so be it. I'm so tired of being underneath so many people's thumbs. If I gotta go through hell just so I can make my own choices and help you guys with the things that you need help with as a free man, doing it because I want to, not because I have to, because we're all shoveling the same shit pile, so be it.
If you're that willing to go to the fucking chopping block, then why don't we actually make it worth it? Do any of us give a shit about any of the people here on this island that are in power?
Hell no, and I've been saying that since the beginning.
She looks to Mammoth.
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think any of them are trustworthy at all.
Okay, she looks over to Nu.
So you want to go out fighting?
Maybe not fighting so much.
No.
It can be quite dirty and underhanded. I don't think any of us are really, top-notch, honorable, whatever you want to call it.
Well, I didn't say plain fighting. I just said go out fighting.
Yeah. Maybe take down a couple of,
What the fuck? No, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh.
That would make shit worth it. That would leave families without fathers, daughters, sons, aunts, uncles.
Such is the way of the world.
What are
Yeah, maybe
you
your way.
saying, Mammoth?
Looking at Mammoth.
Yeah, or I'm sorry, Mustang. God damn it.
Yeah, not so easy, is it?
What I'm saying is that I'm sick of doing things the wrong way. If there's a debt that needs to be paid, then I'd rather just pay it and be done with it, so I can start making better choices without the influence of all these people lording over my life and my will. And maybe it's a little different since, I get to live forever. But also, I don't really have much left to lose if they decide that they want to send me to the chopping block. All I have left is the 6. And if there's something I could do to earn your freedom, then it'll all be worth it. So, in order to do that, I feel like we need more information. Because going in swinging, killing, not asking questions, is what has gotten us here in the first place.
Okay. For starters, you are never going to make reprimands enough to pay for whatever it was you did in your past that you feel guilty for. It's never going to happen.
You can spare me the lecture. I know it will never happen. But just because some things can't be forgiven doesn't mean I can't still try. I think I would prefer it that way.
Okay. I'm okay with that. I have no issues with that. But I do have an issue with you just wanting to go out there knowing everything that I've just laid out for you and thinking that they're going to give you some kind of pass.
That is not what I am thinking.
Oh. Okay. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking we need more information.
How are you going... Okay.
Can I say what I'm thinking?
Yeah.
I'm thinking that Mustang and I were told to stay here by the guards, and so maybe it's okay if we talk to them. But since you just told us all of that, maybe you shouldn't.
Are they going to read our minds right there and then?
Yeah. No, I don't think so. But I think that they can probably expect Mustang and I to be curious because we've been in the same place for 3 days and we've been told not to leave.
Who told you not to leave here?
The guards and
Captain Eingard.
Yeah, that one. And the librarian, I think. Maybe
no,
she
the
told
librarian would be. She'd be so happy if we left. She'd be so happy if I left. I think you're good, Mammoth.
Captain Eingard told you to stay here?
Yes.
Well, along with all of my past romantic flings coming up, there was maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe like at least 4 attempts on my life from separate parties. So, for my protection, I had to stay where the guards could keep an eye on me.
Right, so we're just hanging out here, and so I don't know.
Do you still have connection to Captain Eingard?
Yes. I'm pretty sure he gave me like no, Percy. Someone gave me a stone of some kind. It might have been.
I have one.
No. Pause. I'm saying this as a person, DM. Who gave me something? Was it Captain Eingard or was it what is the name? Kipley, what's the name of your boyfriend? I can't remember.
What?
Vince. Someone gave me something of sending of some sort.
I believe you were offered a stone. Let me think for a second. No, I know Kipley has a summoning crystal of Captain Eingard.
Yeah.
You, when you were looking for him to begin with, you talked to his assistant. I think she said the best that she could do was send a sending to him. And she had a sending stone, and you asked for it, and she said no. I don't think you have one.
Okay, I'll just let it go then. But Kipley, you said you had something.
Do you have something in your inventory that says otherwise? Or your notes?
No, this was just, it was somewhere in my bullshit bullet points and in my memory somewhere, but it's been so long. It's all mixed together in one D&D soup.
I don't remember if he gave you one when you initially had the tavern
I went
brawl.
through a really big rigmarole trying to get a hold of him, and he called me silly, and I don't know, something from there. But we'll just let it go. Let's not delay this any further.
Sure, I'll look for my notes in the meantime.
Okay.
I could cast sending to him, but I mean, we're on neutral terms. I can't say he exactly fancies my company, nor I his.
You also know he's gonna be here today.
Yeah, he's gonna help me get my gun back. Dude.
Eingard?
Yeah, he said he was gonna take me to the dungeons. That's where Belle's being held.
Okay. I know for a fact that him and Doradon kind of have, like a love-hate relationship. They have that whole like honor bond thing.
Ah, the honor bond.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's anyone on this island, aside from like Vince that I would trust, it would probably be him. I mean, he doesn't like me. I'm pretty sure he hates me, but I think we can trust him to at least do what's best for actual people. It was a misunderstanding.
Despite everything that we've been through, you're not a very hateable character, Kipley. I find it hard to believe that anyone has such strong feelings of dislike for you. You've got a very unique charm about you.
It doesn't really take very long for people to kind of start to mistrust me and then generally dislike us. That's just kind of how it is.
Okay, well, here's where I'm at. I agree with Mammoth that I think it would be the least suspicious if he and I went down there, if we're going to go down there. However, the other alternative, if we are not going to do that, is to just sit here and wait and stew on what might happen. So, which would you prefer?
Who?
Kipley.
Honestly, I just want all of us to live through this and not get stepped on by the boot of all these powerful people that... Yeah, I feel like Eingard has the best interests of the people on the island. I don't know who else to trust at this point.
I agree. I think Eingard is a very good man, even to those that he is not so fond of. So if we're gonna find an ally in this shitstorm, it'll probably be him. However, does that mean you're okay with us going downstairs?
No, I don't want you to put yourself in that danger, but at the same time, you're still able to say, you still have an innocence in it, so yes, of course, you could do that.
Ripley?
Yeah.
I just want you to give me a straight answer, because ultimately, these are... Again, I know we're all shoveling the same shit pile, we're all into this together, but a lot of this is your trouble that we're trying to sort out. I'm trying not to take away your autonomy in this. Give me a straight answer. Can we go down there?
I suppose what I'm trying to say is I don't like that you're doing this because you feel like you're trying to help me. And I don't like that. I don't like being put in a position that it feels like I'm the one putting you through this.
Hey, play. This is what it means to be in a team. At some point, you're going to be doing the same thing for someone else. But right now, it's your turn. And that's okay.
Her ears kind of go back a bit and her eyes just kind of bounce around. Okay. Okay. I guess I'll hide out in the library with this guy. She kind of thumbs towards New.
He nods.
New, I don't have to worry about you.
No, we'll stay hidden.
That's what I like to hear. All right. Good meeting. Good meeting, Team Shipile. All right, Mammoth. Let's go get our shovels.
Ooh, be careful.
No promises! And he's gonna start walking down the stairs.
Are you walking downstairs by yourself?
Oh, he's got Mammoth on a leash.
So I was gonna...
Like a fucking pet.
Cool. You two head downstairs? You mean to go up and approach the large number of guards? Right? What's the plan, Stam? Mustang?
Okay, you cut out for me. I missed it.
I said...
I was waiting to see.
Yeah, that's fine. I said, are you going to immediately approach the large number of guards at the bottom? Or are you going to try and go elsewhere in the guild hall?
I think he's gonna like rubberneck for a little while, just to try and see if he can catch any conversation to get some context about what's going on. But if nothing happens, then he's gonna see if he can find a familiar face amongst the crowd and ask what's going on.
Amongst these faces, which are completely covered by metal, no, there's no check needed.
I mean, there's no giant Goliath onion boy.
You don't see any. For one, he wears half plate, not full, so you don't recognize. God, it's been so long.
I forgot his name too.
Mind. It's
Line.
It's not Stefan. Is it Stefan?
It might. I think it is Stefan.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you see Stefan amongst these.
Okay. Well, do we catch any utterances about?
It is dead fucking quiet in here.
That's not good.
Not a singular word is being said amongst these. The only thing you can hear is the slight shift in metal.
What are they doing? Are they just standing around, or?
Just from like the weapons moving ever so slightly, plate armor standing still is a task in itself. So there's some shifting every now and then.
But they're not doing anything. They're just standing there. They're not like looking around for anything, or.
Nope. In fact, the majority of their heads, so you just walk down the stairs, trained on you.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna think anything of that just yet because, we did just enter a quiet room full of guards standing still with nothing else going on. Are any of the... Can we see any of the shops and stuff from here?
Are you going like about halfway down the stairs and just stopping, or are you going all the way down?
I don't know. We're not being shy about it. He's not acting sneaky. He's
Cool.
Going all the way down.
Before you get to the bottom, Kipley and Tanu, can you both go ahead and make me athletics checks?
What the shit? Uh-oh.
18 is a failure.
Oh my gosh.
16 is a failure. And as you get to the bottom, Mustang, is Mammoth in front of you, bleached up, or behind you?
That's up to Mammoth.
I'd probably be behind.
Cool. That's kind of like rope over the shoulder, or you're just not holding it.
I think he would have probably... no, he's holding it. It's like rope around the shoulder sort of thing. Well, no, I lied. That's number one rule of rope etiquette is you don't loop it around your limbs, so he's holding it in his hands.
Okay. As you get to the bottom, you see a few begin to point. Some variations of long swords, shields raised up, and spears predominantly from the front in your direction. And you hear a muffled kind of murmur from the front two, kind of like simultaneously go, "Excuse me, please hold for the moment." And then you hear two thuds from upstairs as both Kipley and who was sitting down at the table, I believe, still, and Kipley going to sit back down after you were walking back. You feel your arms getting clamped behind you in one swift motion. You hear a pop as your shoulder dislocates for a second. And you are forced onto the ground as the invisibility drops. and you can see these very, like, slender-esque looking figures standing about 9 feet tall in length. Charcoal black skin. And you can see these almost like pure white of their eyes. There's no pupils, there's no irises, it's just white. Fingers kind of resembling clawed hands instead of actual, like, opposable thumbs. And the frame reminds you of like a gaunt-esque Slender Man type build. They are long, they are lanky, and while they have force behind them, you wouldn't assume they would be strong looking at them. But you watch as one appears new and grabs Kibble. You panic for a moment and go to stand up, and similarly behind you, instead of grabbing your arms, it just bear hugs you, and almost like a suplex, pulls you out of the chair and throws you onto the ground head first and holds you in that position where now your face is facing the carpet, and you kind of look up and you can see it's staring at you from the same angle. From the bottom of the stairs, you see the guards beginning to circle in, closing in on the actual stairway itself. The stairs does have a guardrail. You're about not even 10 feet off the ground, in terms for the Guildhall floor. And as they begin to approach upwards, you see one more figure dropping a cloak of invisibility. Unlike the others, you see them physically unravel themselves. And you see the form of a very saddened, disappointed, and kind of like face looking like the world's saddest, like disappointed dad face you've ever seen, in the form of Captain Irongard. He appears in the library. So Mustang and Mammoth, you don't immediately see him, but Kibble, the first thing that you see from this, besides this creature, is Captain Irongard appear, and looking down at you, doesn't even say a word, just sighs, begins to make his way down as you hear the boots of heavy metal greaves behind you. Mammoth and Mustang, you both turn and can see him, now walking up behind you, pulling out cuffs. He begins to approach you. What are you two doing? And if you and Kibble would like to do anything, or attempt to do anything. You two are both restrained at the moment. For the two people who are free, are you making any movements? Are you saying anything? Doing anything?
I want my lawyer.
Because this is like not instantaneous. You heard 2 thuds. You saw, you didn't see Captain Irongard uncloak, but you just heard the metal boots beginning to pick up from behind you.
Good captain goes down with his ship. Whatever's happening, he's letting happen.
You're gonna give yourself up?
Well, I mean, he's certainly not going to try and fight them.
Hey, the option is open. You don't have to fight. You can try and run. Mammoth. I mean, you're already bound. Is there anything you want?
Nah.
You do see,
I'm just kind of taking it.
Mustang, you do see, as you turn around, you see the same face of like disappointment and sadness on Captain Irongard, and then there is like a genuine moment of confusion as he looks down at the child-leashed Mammoth and the rope in your hands. and the confusion fades as it goes back to the more somber look, and he pulls out 2 sets of manacles, silently cuffs both of you, nods at the guards at the front and gestures at the two creatures above. And Kipley and New, would you like to try and do anything before you see both of them are starting to stand up and move, and you are being moved with them?
No, I mean, she's mostly out of range of everything. She just... No, there's nothing she can do.
Cool.
New just watches Kipley to see if she's going to try anything, and if she doesn't, then he just goes along.
It's funny because in the midst of this, there are windows in here, as previously described. And you see Tashad look around at the current predicament, kind of looks at you, looks at the window, and makes a break for it, and is rapidly flapping towards the window. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do a contest here, see if it can make a dexterity saving throw to get out of this creature's reach before it can react to an opportunity attack. We'll call this a DC 15. It's not the easiest thing in the world. Where is Dire Raven? I believe she has a +4. I believe she has a +4. I'll go with that for now. 7, no. She goes and tries to yippity-doo-dah out of there, and the creature just, without even looking, snatches one of the claws, and the wings beat furiously, but she goes nowhere. And you watch as some of the guards pushing past Mustang and Mammoth run up and actually like full on muzzle her with rope. Just take the beak and tying it up. And they tie the wings together and kind of just almost like a stuffed turkey, just kind of grab her by the feet and begin taking her down with all of you. You're all dragged to what you assume to be in the direction of the familiar cell you once stayed a night in here. Or stayed a few hours in here, you didn't stay the entire night. Watch as you reach the crossroads at the back of the guild hall, where the normal holding cells are off to the right-hand side, and the guild's cleric, Tess, is off to the left. And you watch as stepping from behind you and kind of leading the pack, Captain Ironguard walks up to the stone wall and places his hand onto it, and kind of his massive body blocking most of the gestures that he makes, but muttering something under his breath. There is a slight glow, and you see a runic sigil running from the wall to the floor, expanding outward to some of the nearby walls. Begins to light up with this bright, like, green-ish flash before it goes out. And there is a click, and the sound of sliding stone begins to rumble throughout this kind of echoey chamber as a set of stairs begins to make its way kind of indenting downwards in the direction of the wall that he just pressed in, as the floor itself begins to dip down, reminiscing very similarly to how whoever was there, which I believe the majority of you were, very similar to how the stairway worked underneath the arena, the vassalship arena. It's not the actual purpose of the arena, but I don't have the actual name on me right now. No way I do. But they begin to lead you down, and it is pitch black. For those of you that have dark vision, it is you can see like roughly 30 feet in front of you at best. Without any light sources, it is hard to really make out much in here before one by one torches alongside the wall begin to and as the party begins to get moved in a direction, you watch as Mustang and Mammoth are taken down one hallway, and you watch as Kipley and New are taken down another. It is one kind of congenial space where the right hallway and the left, you can see down each of them. They align perfectly, and the chamber still continues onward. You just can't see that far in, because it looks like it goes down for quite some ways. But as Kipley and New begin going right, you can see there are a number of barred cells and filled cells at the moment. Meanwhile, Mustang and Mammoth, the way you start walking, at least the way you're being led to, excuse me, the hallway continues down much longer before you actually see where it leads to. And after a few moments, both Mustang and Mammoth are hooded, so you are completely blacked out. And it's funny because it takes a few attempts for the hood to actually stay on you, Mustang. Because you already are wearing the hat, and they have to take the hat off and put the hood over you, so it's just a, like, do you know the wild, wavy, wacky, inflatable tube man? It's kind of like that, but instead of the long, elongated body, it's just your head flapping in the smoke.
Like, please put the hat back on afterwards. He's gonna ask them, please put the hat back on.
There's no response, and you do not feel hat be put on back afterwards.
I'm gonna kill all these bastards.
You were led down that way, and Kipley and New, you are led to where you assume to be another section of the prison, and you are not thrown in a cell together. Kipley, you are put in a room by yourself. There is a table, there is stone chairs that you can see. Once you are put into it, it does not budge, it does not move, and you assume it is built into the floor. And you are manacled to the chair itself, and your hands are manacled to the table itself. New in a very similar fashion, you are put not in a holding, not in the same type of room as Kipley is putting in, but you're put in a holding cell a few steps away from her. Your dark vision's pretty decent. I think you have a view. Is it 120 or is it 60?
I think it's just 60. Yeah, it's just 60 at the moment.
It's, you would probably guess it's roughly about 25, 30-ish feet away from the room that she was just in. You're put in a holding cell where you are just manacled to a chained wooden bench. And not a singular word is said this entire time, which is weird, because normally when you're arrested previously, there's nothing but talk. But this is a silent endeavor. And we will go to Mustang and Mammoth first. As you two have the bags removed from your heads, you are in what looks like almost a break room type of setup. There is a kind of elongated wooden table where you can see there's a few unfamiliar faces, all wearing various sorts of armors, who are currently in the midst of having a conversation and appear to be in the middle of some sort of meal. You're unsure if it's breakfast or lunch based off the time of day, but you can see the familiar face of Captain Eingard sitting across from you. You are still manacled, but you are not held down. There's nothing binding your legs or really stopping your movement outside of just the handcuffs that you're currently in. And after the bag is taken off, the hat is put back on. As Captain Ironguard just kind of, not mad dog stares at the two of you, but just kind of gives you this very serious, very studying and analytic stare. Kind of playing the who's gonna talk first game. Sits there for a good minute without saying anything. Either of you say anything in the meantime?
No. If Mustang's been desacked, he's got 1,000-yard stare. He's
Mammoth
not
is
all
also
there.
silent.
What was that move?
Mammoth is also silent.
Okay. About another minute passes before he kind of just lets out this deep sigh. Right. So we have good news and we have bad news. Which would you like to hear first?
Bad news.
He looks over to Mustang.
It's delayed, and he kind of blinks and almost winces when he does, and he shakes his head a little bit as if maybe he's hearing some things that no one else is, and he ends up just shrugging.
Right. The bad news is we found out both Duradon, the Savage Hunter, and Kipley, both members of the Six, were part of a terrorist attack that occurred last night. A ship that was underneath the Rennell family's control, besieged by a number of individuals, and among them were your friends. They are currently being held and questioned at the moment. There was also reports of, well, there's a single report, as I should say, of a fellow that looked rather fit the bill of exactly the description from Jordan Dambala, of someone who broke into his estate and killed a man, one of his family's workers, last night. It fit the description of the man that was sitting with you at the table this morning. I will shortly ask you some questions on that. The good news, Mr. Strums. We did some digging around our local assets on the island. And we found what we believe to be one of the names of the groups. And we did find there's an active bounty from which they put on your head at the moment. It's not officially sanctioned, of course, by any of the Brotherhoods, nor the actual guild itself from Paradise Peak. But it is running through some of the underground channels, both in the nearby area, and it seems the influence is quite large. We don't know how exactly far it goes, but it could be a number of destinations. That's good news. We've at least identified one part of a really bad day. Also, good news is, Mammoth, sorry about the cautions. We didn't want to have any wrong ideas from any of your friends, or we didn't want to get them too excited.
Yeah, it's okay. That's why I was
walk free.
put in this rope.
Yeah. glad you understand. And you see he gestures, and immediately 2 guards come over and both undo Mustangs and Mammoth's chains. And they both just fall to the table. I hope you understand. I'm going to have to bring Kipley in for some serious questioning. And he kind of looks around and gestures, and the 2 guards walk to the very edge of the room, and he kind of clears his throat. And the other 2 guards at the end of the table kind of shoot him a look, nod, and pick up their plates and walk out to the exit. Not the same one that you came in, but there's a door off to the side that they walk out of and close the door behind them. He goes, and he leans in kind of over the table and gestures for you both to lean in close. I believe we're gonna have to send out a search party for Duradon. I haven't made any official word to the council on his whereabouts yet, but I was told by the guards last night. He's gone. He's no longer within our facility. His wounds were mostly patched up, but he still shouldn't have been able to evade everyone's sights. There's no way that he physically could have left that building by himself, and it was said that there was a large pile of dust from where he was last standing. So we are currently looking into his whereabouts. If you have any information, I would kindly ask that you hand it over as soon as possible. I'm not just saying this as the captain of the guard. I am saying this as a friend for Duradon. If you know that he's still okay and alive, I would very much like to know that. Because currently, we don't know where he is, we don't know if he's okay, or anything about the rumors that he was involved in a terrorist attack on our own people. There's over 9 men dead between the island's attack itself and the Renell ship incident. A colossal sky swimmer was brought down about 2 days' travel from here in response to the attack on the Renells. And, well, there's a lot going on at the moment, and a lot of it seems to be revolving around your party and some new friends and old, it appears. If you have any information at all, please, I'm begging you. Anything you can give is only going to help make the situation better for everybody.
I think we were kind of hoping you could help us.
In what regard?
I don't know, we don't really... There's kind of like a lot happening right now.
Right. Let me phrase it this way. Did either of you two know anything about this attack? Kipley or Duradon tell you anything about any plans, any reasoning, anything? Any information? I would like to ask you, kindly, to be truthful and upfront. If you do find any information, I would really rather not go through it with you two. We have no ties or no links that says that you were near any of the crimes committed. I know where you were, and he looks towards Mammoth, and I came and immediately saw that you were still on the island at the time. now looking towards Mustang. Well, I know you weren't directly involved with it. I believe that you're not directly involved with it. But if you know anything on it, please help me solve this in the best way possible for you.
Question. I got a little lost in the sauce. How long exactly have you said we've been here?
So I messed up a little bit on that, and I apologize. It's been a while. The attack itself was 3 days ago, and the doop. He said the attack from the Dirt-on estate, from the Timbala estate was last night. You've been in the guild hall for 3 days.
Okay, and we've been in the prison for how long?
In the current cell that you're in right now? Or you're not in a cell, you are in the break room. You were just put in here by, like, literally you were just walked down. The process to get you here has only been like 15-ish minutes at most.
I see. Okay. I heard something about, like, meals or something, and I got a little confused earlier, and I was like, whoa.
I mean, since you've been in the library the entire time and you haven't left, like, you could see the sun was up, but you didn't really, like, gauge what time of day it was necessarily. Because Kipley specifically said that she was sleeping in. So you didn't know if it was afternoon, morning, what real time. You would have to go outside to see, but you didn't get that far.
We did not. Okay. Well, if it's only been 15 minutes, we're gonna need a little longer than that to get rid of the shell shock. Brother's got 1 insanity point. He's gonna be a little unreasonable. So he stays silent, but it's very obvious that this man is not all there. That maybe now isn't the best time.
He looks towards Mammoth during your silence.
Yeah, I got nothing.
You don't know anything about this at all. They didn't tell you anything.
I don't think.
You can go ahead and make me a deception check. We're gonna call this. Actually, no, we'll do it's a contested roll because I do have his NPC stat block up.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy. You know, maybe you want to use your inspiration.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I mean, his minimum bonus to the insight is gonna beat that. We're looking at not that much better at 12.
Does Mammoth know he's like chill? He's and like kind of on their side.
In terms of
like
being
the
friendly
party.
to the party.
Yeah, like isn't.
I mean, you've
Or
met
maybe
him
I'm thinking of
before.
somebody else. Was Eingard was the one that was talking to Duradon when he had like the scalpel, right? Or was that somebody else?
Yeah, that was Eingard.
Okay, yeah.
You've seen them together before, in terms of like Captain Eingard and Duradon interacting. You met him in the guild hall initially. But I don't know. At least I don't remember the current moment, the depth at which you've seen him interact with the party. Because the scalpel moment was alone. That was just Duradon, Captain Eingard. None of you saw that.
Yeah, I was making sure I had the right guy.
You know you're on friendly-ish terms. He also was the one that warned you and Mustang that there was a bounty on Mustang's head when you were walking back from the Cloud District. And also, personally was there when the attack happened.
Yeah, we'll just keep it. We'll just keep the 3.
So he looks at you, and he gives a deep stare of intensity before he kind of... It's not quick or aggressive in any manner, but he just brings his hand right in front of Mustang's face and snaps. And goes, "Now is not the time to be phasing out, friend." And he adds his, "I know it's a lot to process, but I can't have you shutting down on me right now, because that's only going to make things look worse for you."
Sorry, can you repeat yourself? The first time.
When he was, what I just said with Mustang? Did I cut out?
Wait, I think.
He just
No,
said,
I'm fucking. Yeah, sure.
what he just said to Mustang was he snapped his fingers in front of him. Snap out of it. I can't have you phasing out right now because your silence only makes you look more suspicious.
Okay.
He hasn't addressed you since you've lied to him. He gave you a look of like okay, you obviously know something, but you're also a child, and it's gonna be harder to grill you for information. So there's a look of recognition that he's given you so far, but it's mainly focused on the person that does a lot of talking. Or at least he's seen them do a lot of talking in the past.
Mustang, he doesn't blink when Eingard is snapping in his face, but maybe like 10 seconds later, he starts blinking as if someone was snapping in his face. And kind of looks up and he looks around and he almost seems a bit confused, as like he's not seen these walls before, like he wasn't, like he hadn't been in there for the past X amount of minutes. And he looks at Eingard and he's like, "Looks bad for me?"
I mean,
kind of cocks his head to the side.
if you're withholding information that you know on the subject, it's not going to be looking good for you, yes. Especially since, well, there's some current trouble with you and the sponsors at the moment.
There is? He tilts his head even further.
Nothing read to the mainstream media yet, but after the attack, Guildhall did a bit of full cleaning, we'll call it, and your name was registered under being a vassal to Evelyn Kroll, and you collected 2 payments underneath that falsehood. Afterwards, it was made aware that you took all of your coin or your payment in coin, excuse me, and it has been shown that you have no actual affiliation with her, and that is direct fraud and fabrication of being a vassalship member. Now, I'm put in a really rough spot here, because normally you'd be in the same cell right next to Miss Kipley. But if you have any information on the attack, any at all, it will certainly help me resolve this situation in a slightly more pleasant manner. I'm not asking you to sell your friends to save your own skin, but you need to give me something here. Because if you say nothing, it's only going to confirm already put in suspicions.
That's why I hate Paradise Peak. There's no innocent till proven guilty. Damn it.
They have your literal signature saying that you are a vassal of Evelyn Kroll.
Fraud, terrorism, they're not the same.
No, but you still, you do know you. I know you're not from Paradise Peak, but vassals are government-filled positions, and you just pretended to be a. Never mind. You see, he genuinely was like, ready to go on a rant, but reins in. Any information, please. Did either Duradon or Kibley tell you anything that can be of use? Because I'm going to tell you this right now. Either way, both of them are going to be in trouble. There's no getting out of this one. 9 men are dead. And they attempted to steal a powerful magical artifact from a dweller, which they also severely damaged.
Well, I'll tell you what. Person you really need to lock up, I'm not sure you can do it. He kind of just sits back in his chair and he stares up at the ceiling.
That is not enough.
I'm sure you guys aren't enough either.
I mean, that's not enough information, Mr. Strums.
Oh, please, call me Mustang.
No, you immediately pick that up. He calls you Mustang every other interaction.
No need for Mr. Strums here. Not your dad.
Well,
probably
Mr.
old
Strums,
enough to be, though.
I hope you can recognize the severity of the situation that you and your friends are in at the moment.
I hope you can too. Let me tell you, Monarch of Mischief, he's got it out for you guys.
I have literally no idea who that is.
You will soon enough. I reckon she was the mastermind behind all of this. I think Duradon and Kipley could pull something off like this by themselves.
Give me a persuasion check at disadvantage.
Okay. Uh, 21.
At disadvantage?
Yeah, I rolled a 23 and a 21.
Cool. If this is TPK by courts, this is, Monarch of Mischief. Is this some type of deity that they follow? Are they part of a cult of this creature? Of this person?
Oh, she's like God.
Oh, Mammoth. You know, if anyone's indoctrinated, it's this little boy here, but you know, children. They're quite so fancy.
She's a deity then.
Well, it's in the name. She's a monarch, but...
I don't know much about monarchs, but as far as I know, they are like gods, and some similarities. So, a god
if
told them
that
to
helps
do
you...
this?
I don't know. If calling her a god helps you wrap your head around it, so be it, but I wouldn't go so far. It's more like a... It's more like a warlock patron. Like, her powers unfathomable, but she strikes deals rather than amass followers. She does not require the consent.
An eldritch being, then. It doesn't matter the semantics. Just saying a powerful creature forced your friends to commit a terrorist act against Paradise Peak.
Actually, yeah.
That's about the size of it, I would say. She's very...
How do you have this information?
Well,
do you know this creature? Have you seen them?
Unfortunately, I do. And that's how as I was trying to tell you, she does not require the faith of her followers, only their debt. And I, as well, am indebted to this monarch of mischief. And now, I really wish I could tell you more, but as much as my life is at stake here in the legal system, it's just as much at stake with this monarch.
Go ahead and give me a deception check.
Oh, wait, is that not true?
I'll say not at all. And you owe her
geez.
favors, not your life.
I was trying. I thought I was being honest. Let me rephrase that then.
No. If you're trying to be honest, you can phrase it differently. But
yeah, I say let me roll that back. I misunderstood the situation.
You of all people know very specifically what your standing with her is, and you owe her favors. To clarify, other people have made deals with her. Kipley made a deal. Duradon made a deal. Well, Duradon made a partnership deal, slightly different. Mammoth specifically made a different deal than you. Each of you have a connection to this creature, but some of you just owe her favors. Some of you have pledged themselves to her, and others are just simply aligned with her beliefs. So, you specifically, you do not owe her life.
Okay.
If you were to be asked that question, answer honestly, would say that his life is in her hands.
Okay. Might be, everyone. My bad.
Hey, it's been a long time. You're good.
Well, I owe... I too have a debt to this monarch of mischief, and I fear her wrath just a bit, as you've seen what she's capable of.
I also owe her, but I'm not very scared of her.
What exactly is she capable of?
You saw everything with the Renels.
So you're saying she's what?
She's dangerous, is what I'm saying.
Right.
God, make me say the quiet part out loud.
Only Duradon and Kipley were found at the scene. There was no mention of anyone else there. Which is why I'm curious of why you're saying we know what she's capable of.
Oh. Well, that's because she told me. Kipley.
So Kipley... Okay. And you see, the second he said she told me, his face just drops into like a god damn it. Go ahead and make me an insight check if you want. You don't have to, but he goes
19.
Cool, that's enough. Basically, no matter what Kipley says now, there is the confirmation that she has colluded with you in some way or another.
What?
You see, he was really hoping that you didn't know anything about this, and that you just are hearing about it now. But this confirms.
That's exactly what happened.
Oh yeah, no, it is. You did nothing wrong. You just heard about it. He was just hoping that you were out of the loop so that you wouldn't be brought into this. And you can see that on his face. As he goes, right, okay.
Angard, wipe that look off your face. You should be happy that I'm not lying to you.
He already attempted to. And
he's a kid. He doesn't understand how this stuff works.
That does not... Do you think others are going to care?
Is this place really so barbaric?
He works as a vassal at this age. Lying in a court, if they ask him questions, that's not going to hold up if he's just a kid. That's why I'm trying to get information out now.
Yeah.
He's good. Now, I don't got any lessons for teaching horses to tell the truth. So I'm kind of shit out of luck on this one, but you need to be 100% honest. Otherwise, everyone's going to get in way more trouble. We're already down here. We're already locked up. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah, I just didn't know what I was supposed to say.
I appreciate that you're trying to do what's right. Thank you, buddy.
I mean, you really just shouldn't lie to the authorities that in this situation.
He's not from here either. Have a little grace.
No, I'm saying as a heads up in the future, that's really not great. Also, in most cases, you're most likely going to be presumed you're in the right since you're a vassal, so lying will only make it worse. Anyway, continue. You were saying this third party.
The Monarch of Mischief. She's a formidable mistress. I do have to say, she's very cunning.
You said Kipley told you about her. But you said something about Kipley and her. Kipley telling you about her being there, her part in this. What did she tell you?
This was all after. But she was the mastermind. That she was disguised as a powerful, once upon a time wizard named Lorna Dane Newman. Wore her skin like a suit.
Okay, so you're saying that Lorna Dane Newman was also on the scene and that she's not actually Lorna Dane Newman.
This is Monarch of Mischief.
She's instead possessed by this Monarch Mischief.
Well, you're making a lot of assumptions here.
I'm trying to just understand what you are saying because
I don't know.
I was given was that Kipley and Duradon were the sole proprietors in this instance. They're the sole. And you see, he's really struggling to say it. Terrorists in this accident, and no one else was described to the authorities when the Rennells filed this incident.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. However, I would think that you, Captain Eingarth, that hearing that it was just them who orchestrated that would raise a few alarm bells, don't you think? 10 years of drudgery, bounty, Duradon, and little old Kipley attacking the Rennells out of nowhere? Like, that doesn't add up.
No offense, but there's been a lot of suspicious activity from your group in general. So, Duradon, yes, it doesn't make sense for him to do this without incentive. But if there is incentive, I also know his background and where it came from. Could be coerced into doing things if there was good enough reason behind it. Which is why I am desperately trying to find him at the moment. Or confirm the worst.
You said he was a pile of dust? Or there was a pile of dust?
There was a pile of ash.
Not my ash, to be clear.
And he kind of gives you a look of like, what's your passive insight? Both of you. Man,
like 14? Not great.
I think mine's 15. Yeah, 15.
15, cool. Ma'am, if you pick up, you immediately get the idea that that had not crossed his mind. And as soon as Mustang does say that, you see there is like the faintest bit of questioning looks that's given towards Mustang of like, oh, it could have been him. I will make a note of that. And he goes, number of things that it could have been. But we just don't know.
Well, assuming this pile of ash is a neatly placed decoy, if Duradon's gone and he's as badly injured as you say, he definitely had help, as you said, and if he had help, it must have been some pretty massive help. to get him out from underneath y'all's noses. So I reckon if he's wise enough, he's probably long, long, long gone.
And at this point, he kind of lets out like not a sigh, more just like this like deep grunt, almost like an annoyed grunt. Just no, that's the thing. I've been captain of the guard for at this point roughly 10 years. Before that, I was a vassal, much like yourself. He nods to Mammoth. I spent a large amount of my time, in war zones, battles, all different types, creatures, monsters, mages, and men. I don't know if he's alive. Because normally when there's a pile of dust behind where someone once was, it's not because they were magically teleported outside of where they just were. Normally means they were killed, they were incinerated, or they were disintegrated. So I think someone tried to kill him. I think it was probably because of this. I don't know if your Monarch of Mischief would do that. Especially not if she was the one colluding this in the first place.
I doubt it. I doubt it was her.
But
go ahead.
My other fault was if this was planned by someone else, and the person who suffered by this couldn't reach the Monarch of Mischief and they wanted to send a message, I would do that by getting rid of one of their more powerful underlings. The timing doesn't sit right with me. Just before he's about to be questioned, he disappears, and a pile of ashes left behind. Now, it can't be pointing fingers, there's a lot of powerful casters on this island, but my concerns are deepened by this.
Well, I mean, you said they broke into the Renels. There's some powerful casters.
And he gives you a look, like a very serious look, immediately crosses his face. Dare not question that possibility, because that would be a very dangerous path to go down, accusing a archmage of such an act.
Oh, I didn't accuse anybody of anything. I just said they're powerful mages.
Right, and you're not gonna say that outside this room.
Of course not, Eingard.
Oh, I skipped over something, right? Does the name Carmine mean anything to any of you?
Don't think so.
Carmine.
Both of you can go ahead and make me history checks.
Dump stat. Oh! 30-20. I'm rolling high in these prisons. High roller in the prisons. Someone give me a lottery ticket.
I'm rolling high in these prisons is not something I was expecting here. Cool. What was your roll, Mammoth? A 9?
9.
Cool. What was your roll, Mustang?
20.
20? Cool. Mammoth, never heard of it before. Mustang. It's one of those things where it kind of lingers in your head of like you say it a few times and you have to run back through like recent events, trying to think back to maybe familiar faces or names, and it's not ringing a bell until you remember on the Golden Vow, back when it was still called the Golden Vow before you renamed it, there was a large crate of items that the 6 held themselves to. And it was addressed to a singular word written on carved into the front of it, and that was Carmine. And you were also later explained by Zyrus that the hobgoblin in charge was a smuggler, most likely delivering this loot to the Carmine family, a semi-well-known crime syndicate. Crime family, not quite syndicate. They're not that large in terms of manpower, but still, nonetheless, an extremely influential force that you've never worked for before, but you've heard whispers of this in the past as well. A family that, has been around as long as, at least for the past 700 years.
Well, Mustang, he kind of clicks his non-existent tongue against his non-existent teeth as he thinks, and then he snaps and he's like, "Oh, they're that crime family. I think I've heard of them before. They're a little too dirty for my taste. I wouldn't work for them, but I've heard their name once or twice."
I believe they're the ones that put out the bounty on you.
Ah, son of a bitch. I knew there was a reason I didn't work for him.
Stolen goods.
Yeah. Think about it a little more. When we first were assigned to attack that smuggler's ship, there was a crate full of goods. It must have been addressed to the Carmine family that we helped ourselves to.
Well, that would explain that, at the very least. They don't like to have their goods meddled with. Especially not, new faces poking around. I'm gonna be very honest with you, Mr. Strums. Mustang. I don't know how much we can do to stop that. The Carmine family is very influential, and their power extends quite far, even outside the Brotherhood's reach.
I better start making some friends then, huh?
I would start potentially making a new name. I don't know how many other men of smoke are out there, but investing in a disguise might be warranted.
See, I'm laughing, but it's not funny at all.
It's not. You see, there's a lot of protections that we can offer our vassals on the island. But after the recent discovery that you are not among our ranks, and the amount of trouble that went into protecting you, that's not going to happen again.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think vassal life is for me anyway. But I appreciate the heads up, and I will find my way. Assuming I get out of this dank, wet hole that we are all in.
Right. If you do, respectfully, I would highly suggest you think about how that affects your group.
Don't worry. That is all I think about these days.
Right. I'm gonna go ahead and have a chat You're the friends. If there's anything else that you haven't told me yet, now would be the time. Anything relevant to anything that you know about this attack on the Renels, the Monarch of Mischief, strange plot with Lord De Newman.
Yeah. Well, I think I've told you all that I really know, but I just want to re-emphasize that this Monarch of Mischief, in case I didn't get it across earlier, because I know sometimes I can be a bit frilly with my phrasing. He means business. And I know y'all are real focused on the heralds right now, but let me tell you, there's a shitstorm brewing.
You would be very much correct in the fact that we are hands tied at the moment dealing with the heralds, and without proper evidence of this monarch, I don't think any manpower will be put towards investigating it besides myself. And that would probably be done on my own personal time. So,
Well,
I
at least
appreciate
you know.
that.
You know. And if something does happen, at least you can sleep well in your grave, knowing that you did not idly sit upon your hands.
It's a long pause before he goes, let's avoid any of that kind of talk for right now. If there is something bigger than the heralds coming. Never mind. I need to go talk with your friends, and please stay here for the moment. If you require anything, food, water, just ask any of the guards here. And gestures, and while the 2 guards that had left previously did fully leave and seal the room, the other 2 men have been staying here for this entire conversation. So you've not been alone. And he gestures to the right and goes, trust these 2 men of my life. Leon. That's Rugford. Whatever you say to them stays in this room, stays between us. If you need anything, they will get it for you. Don't leave this room. If you do, I won't be able to do anything about it. About what would happen to you.
Oh.
Stan.
He looks to Mammoth. Mammoth?
Behave.
Thank you. Can I ask you one favor, Eingard, before you go?
And that is?
Kimberly said she was thirsty earlier. Are prisoners still entitled to water?
Normally, substances of the liquid variety are withheld when dealing with casters initially. A lot of them can do a lot of weird shit with just about anything, so I will have it on standby if she cooperates.
Suppose that's all I can ask for.
Right. Thank you for your information. I'll be back.
He goes to tip his hat to Eingard, and then he remembers that it's not there, and he immediately goes to Leon, and he's like, you get my hat.
Your hat's right there. After they took the hood off, they did hand you the hat back.
Oh, thank the gods! And he just slams it back on his head.
Outback Jordan? God. We're not gonna go take you to see the Nutcracker. Okay. Anyway, I love that so much. as he leaves the room, you see, which by the way, these men are also not
Blade.
currently holding weapons, but they are armored. So you cannot see their faces or make out any real detail, but the taller one, which was addressed as Leon, does kind of have a similar frame to Stefan. A little more beefy, tall, while Rufford is like a very thin, not plate armor, but looks like to be a very thin splint male.
Is he like wearing a uniform or?
No, they both look like they're wearing different attire.
Oh.
You go ahead and make me a I'll allow you to make either an history check or an insight check, Mustang.
21.
For which one?
Insight.
Okay, insight was a little bit higher because it's harder to gauge.
Higher than
off the heading.
21.
Well, it's just you're not gonna get as much information. You would gauge by the way that they've been standing, and just with your passive perception as well. They don't bear any of the guilds nor vassal insignias on them. And kind of going off of how Eingard addressed them and how much trust he had in them, you assume that these aren't just his assigned men. You would assume that these are probably either his ex-party members that he's called in for help, or are some sort of outside sourced personal people that he knew. Like, these are not guards. These are 100% kind of like you existing in the Six. They're not vassals, but they've been called here by him to help.
See. And you said Leon was the bigger one?
Yeah, Leon was the bigger one. He has a similar build to Stefan.
How tall is he?
Stefan was about like 7'4". Leon's just about like 6'9".
Okay.
He is as wide as Stefan though.
Okay.
They have like a heavier build, but Rufford's only like half his size.
Okay. No one tries to talk to him. He's gonna stare at Leon the whole time.
Just stare at him.
Gonna stare at him the whole time.
Go ahead, give me a general charisma check, unless you're trying to intimidate.
No, absolutely. He's.
Yeah, give me a general charisma check then.
He is not trying to intimidate him.
Give me your +4 you have on charisma.
17.
17? Okay. Are you a smoky, neutral poker face the entire time?
His eyes are a little... No, not his eyes are a little wider, and the part of his eyes that usually make up his pupil that just burns white hot, wider than normal. Pupils are dilated, if you will.
So you kind of just like frog open eye stare. Gotcha. Okay. He doesn't say anything back, but you do see his head, which was kind of like facing forward, that was kind of tilt down a bit to look at you. He does match your stare for a little bit before just kind of slowly turning away. Meanwhile, unless you want to do anything else with that encounter, meanwhile, Kipley.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very familiar situation for you. You have found yourself in trouble both on the island and off it. You weren't told why you're being brought here. So, you do have questions racing through your head, but you also are well aware of what most likely this is about. And you were left alone for like roughly 25 minutes, like half an hour. No visitors. You don't see any guards. And you don't hear a singular sound. Not the rustling of other chains, not any of the other prisoners that you walked by. Just silence. Would you like to do anything, or...
Is she... I'm sorry, is she alone in the room?
Yeah, no, the door's locked.
Door's locked.
You are manacled by your hands to the table. The hand manacles reach the table, and your legs are clamped onto the stone chair.
Ah, fuck. Is her arm so her arm's dislocated? She's all okay. There's nothing she can really do. She just kind of sits there.
Okay. Time goes by, and you start to lose track of it a little bit. But eventually, the door does open, and you do see Captain Ironguard enter the room, wearing very much the same poker face that he had on when he brought you downstairs. Closes the door behind him. See, he locks it. And he steps into the kind of space of the table. Sits down, chair opposite to you. Just kind of looks at you for a second. Giving you a long once over, the same analytic stare that he gave you the first time.
Yeah, she doesn't say anything. She just kind of lets the chains drop a bit and just kind of lets her gaze drop to the table.
Do you know why you're here?
One of her shoulders shrugs.
The other just kind of limply.
Yeah.
I would not do by staying in Mammoth. They told me the majority of what they knew.
I guess you don't need much from me then.
But I really do. I need to see if it collaborates. And also I need a reason as to why you did this. They claim you were forced to do this by someone else. Now we had a spotty test at first, but I genuinely thought that you were trying to do better by the island. So I am inclined to believe that you did not aid in the murder of 9 men and women aboard a Archmage's ship for no particular reason other than you are told to do it. I would assume better of you. I could be wrong. Could very well be wrong. But I would like you to prove me right. In order to do that, I need you to help in any way that you can. With any information you can. Because right now, I am playing the aspect of a, how do you put it? Good warden. They are people who have extracted information from heralds, shapeshifters, monsters, things far worse than you who are coming after me. And I really don't want to have to do that to you, Ghibli. Please. Tell me what you were doing on that ship. Why were you there?
Why don't you prove to me who you are first?
No games, Ghibli.
No games.
This is not a negotiation. This is me trying to help you.
Is it?
If you refuse it, it's only going to get much worse for you. Please tell me the reason of why you're on this ship.
What happened to Doradon? Why is he?
Are you going to answer any of the questions?
You don't know, do you?
Don't think you understand the severity of your position.
I'm very well aware of the severity.
There are far worse things than having your vassal ship revoked, than being banished, even than being sentenced to death. Current outlook, right now, from what I've been told by my supervisors, we're going to be sent to the wall. Same place they keep monsters. Same place where the majority of their prisoners die. Same place where the majority of the prisoners are used for experiments. Are used for unspeakable things. They'll be far outside our control. I'll ask again. Someone who's trying to help you, Ghibli. Why were you on that ship? What was your goal? What was your plan?
Ghibli's expression is very... very, like, kind of stoic, but, like, also guarded. And as she just kind of stares at the table, like, almost like a tear kind of runs down her face. And she just kind of shakes her head a bit.
Friends mentioned a name. Lord Newman. Did anyone by this name entice you into doing this?
Is that what you'd like to hear?
Yes or no? Did anyone by the name of the Monarch of Mischief force you to do this?
I don't know.
Did you want to do this?
Which
Did
part?
you know what you were doing?
Did I want to kill people? No. Did I directly kill these people? No. Did I want to save Maeve? Yes. Were we drawn into this under the same goddamn direction by those that we then infiltrated? Fucking yes.
You're saying this entity enticed you into the killing of this man?
Under the direction.
With the promise of saving Maeve Damballa.
Sure. If it'll help you sleep better at night, sure. That's the extent of it.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check with disadvantage. It's not technically wrong.
Ooh. Oh, disadvantage.
Yep, one more. Cool. You see, he just shakes his head. No one else was reported at the scene besides you and Duradon.
No one else.
Did you have contact with this person before going on this mission?
Who are you talking about? Lorna Dane?
Yes. Did you have any prior or any contact at all with this person? Before the event transpired?
Yes.
And what did they tell you? Did they tell you to attack the Renels? They tell you kill the men on board?
No.
They're forcing you to do this?
No. What they told us is they were hired by a Renel and a Dumbola to steal advice from the Renels.
Ghibli. I understand that you are a very accomplished liar, but that's not going to help you right now.
I'm not lying.
The Renels hired someone to break into their own ship, to kill 9 of their own men.
Not the majority of them, just one.
And what does this have to do with you and Duradon? How did you two loop yourselves into this then? And why would a Damballa be involved in this?
Because it was to save a Dumbola.
Who was it?
What do you hope to gain from all this information? Is it literally just to save us? To clear our names? Or is it to wipe this problem off your table?
You and your friend attacked one of the most powerful people on this island. One of the most powerful people in the Shrouded Isles. There's going to be consequences no matter what. I am trying to do damage prevention right now. Because I deeply care about Duradon and what happens to him.
So he's alive then?
I don't know if he is or not. I also know that he was friends of you, your group. I'm trying to do anything in my power to help keep you in one piece. When this all can become public one way or another, I don't know how many days. Could be a few hours. And when it does, there'll be nothing I can do. Trying to get in early, give more valuable information, anything that I can to my superiors, to give even a fighting chance for a trial for a hearing, for a council meeting to aid you in this endeavor. If you give me nothing and you lie to me, I won't be able to help you. You will be sent away. If Duradon is still alive, he will be sent away or killed, or whatever they deem, because it will be out of my hands. Now, if you don't say anything to me, as I said, there will be others, and they'll be so much worse. They won't ask kindly, they'll just take information. So it's going to come out one way or another. And I really don't want you to threaten. I really don't want to threaten you with that. I want you to understand what kind of situation you've gotten yourself into.
I understand. It's you who doesn't understand.
I'm sorry, what was that?
It's you who doesn't understand.
Why would that be?
You can sit here, and I can tell you everything you want to hear. Or you can sit here and actually listen to the truth. But it's not going to be pretty. And there may be absolutely nothing you can do about it. And that's okay.
I'm giving you one last chance. Did this monarch of mischief force you to do any of the crimes that you committed? Did they threaten your life? Did they threaten your friends? You personally threatened in any way, shape, or form by this person?
I mean, she stuffed my soul in a jar for a bit.
Did she force you to do this, yes or no?
No.
So you did this of your own willing accord?
Not really. It was kind of this weird,
Yes.
threatening
or no?
deal. Look, you're looking for a black and white answer. There's not one.
That's because the person that's going to come after me is only going to be working in black and white. They don't care about the maybes. They don't care about any of the other details.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem. Look, you tell them what you need to tell them. To keep Duradon alive, and to keep you well, and to keep the team well.
It's not going to happen. Because the second that this gets out of my hands, they're going to say, you collaborate with your friends. They're going to get put in the wall with you. No one is going to be walking away from this, no matter how far away they were from this crime. Do you understand that? Mammoth, a child, they won't give a shit about who he is, how young he is. He'll be thrown in there with you. Mustang already looks like a monster. They'd be waiting for an excuse to throw him in there. Duradon was an upstanding citizen. He wiped the streets clean, but he also was a monster in his own right. People have been scared of him since he got here. People have judged him since he got here. And even though he's helped people, there are so many more people who are afraid of him than there are who would be to stand up for him. And yourself, with all due respect. greatest history on Paradise Peak. Certainly don't have the greatest history elsewhere as well. I need you to give me something. Not just it was complicated or a fake yes, fake no. I need you to give me a reason, something of vital information that is greater than what crime was committed. And if you can't, then there is nothing I can do for you.
You only want a definitive answer of whether or not this person forced me to do something. Is that it?
I want you to give me anything to show that there was some ounce, speck, however small, that forced you and Duradon to do this. That you did not willingly do this. And if there isn't in any truth of that matter, then I cannot help you.
Duradon went along with it because he was forced to.
Who?
Our sponsor. He was given direction to protect me at all costs and to get me somewhere where I need to go. He got dragged into it.
Did Evelyn Kroll know about this?
She's the one that gave him the order.
Did Evelyn Kroll know about this attack? Did she say anything to you? Did she mention anything to you? Did she aid you in this endeavor?
No.
Go ahead, make me a deception check with disadvantage.
Did she?
She did.
What? Do I know this?
It's been a hot second, but she was there at the fight during the before Duradon gave Laurendane the Black Blade. She defended both you and Duradon from the grunt soldiers from the Monarch of Ice. When the people broke in, she took the form of a kind of molten-esque appearance of her own.
Where was this at?
This was when you were trying to steal the artifact.
Oh my god, I do not remember her being there whatsoever. Okay. I remember I thought Jada was there, but I did not remember.
Duradon was about to die.
Oh, yeah. No. I don't know. Okay, here we go. Okay, 13.
Oh, buddies. So with this, you really want a 7 or lower. Cool. Cool. Let's outside. I'm sorry there couldn't be more of assistance.
It was never your job.
It's a long pause while he just stares down at the table.
Don't feel guilty about it, you know? It's gonna be fine. I mean, if you can get Dorodon and the others out, that would be great. But it's kind of been a long time coming, you know? No hard feelings.
Looks back at the door. You know, it's a strange gesture to show up at someone's door with a stick. A literal olive branch.
Is it?
But I did appreciate it. He goes to stand up. He gives you one final glance, and you can see it's not disappointment or even sorrow. There's just this kind of deep look of pity over his face. I hope for your sake something else turns up. He begins to walk out. If there's anything else that you'd like to do while he's still here.
No, she's got nothing.
Doors closed. Carrot locked once more. And funny enough, you don't hear footsteps walking away. In fact, as soon as the doors closed, once again silent in this room. Not the comforting silence that you were left in before. It's more unsettling, eerie.
Like a silent room, like you can't even hear yourself blink.
You haven't been in many serious prisons before, but you can go ahead and make me an Arcana check if you like.
You start hearing your fingernails growing.
It is still a disadvantage because you are
Oh,
exhausted.
no, yep, that's a very good point. Okay, yeah, that's more like it.
11. I'll say you think it's some sort of magic. You are unsure to what extent it is. But the fact that you could have a conversation here, but you didn't hear him approach from the outside kind of gives you a clue. That's it. But it is also kind of like a weird effect that once he leaves, it is kind of muted. So, you don't know.
Okay.
A few moments go by. And it is... it's not uncommon for you to be sitting in a cell, new. Normally it's with some sort of plan in the background, but this time it was really just caught by surprise. And you can definitely tell this in terms of holding capability. This does seem to be more like a stereotypical cell. It's not a lot of special properties or anything you can tell at least, but after about what you could probably guess to be 45 minutes to an hour, there's nothing. You hear no noise. You don't see anyone walk by. No one comes and checks on you. No one's watching you. You're just left alone in the cell. Do you want to try and do anything during this time?
He would try to reach out to Sod.
You try and reach out to Sod, and you get nothing. It is one of the very rare instances where you haven't been able to reach them.
Yeah.
There have been times before where you couldn't, but that was... You can count that number of times on your one hand.
Gotcha.
Anything else or no?
Is it just his hands that are shackled to the bench, or is his leg shackled too?
You have your legs aren't shackled to the bench, but your the manacles themselves are. So you can stand up, but that's about it.
Are the shackles, do they just look like normal prison use shackles, or do they look any different? Like heavier duty, or...
I mean, they're pretty heavy shackles, but you don't know exactly to what extent. You can make me a investigation check if you like.
Sure.
If you're proficient in Arcana, you can give me an Arcana check. I don't think you are.
Natural 20.
Natural 20. Why don't you look at that? They're magic. I'm gonna bypass the Arcana check. Definitely are enchanted. They are not your typical. These are not typical manacles. These are 100% enchanted. Is very subtle, but there are some runic patterns carved into the very base of them.
Okay.
And they are key operated. There's no fancy mechanism outside of that, but you would guess the probability of you breaking these pretty close to 0.
Right.
Now, just because they're enchanted doesn't necessarily mean they can't be picked.
Right.
Just means that they're a little bit more durable than normal, and you probably can't cast well in these. You would assume.
Mm-hmm.
Then again, you're also not your average caster. Your magic works in weirdish ways, so you're unsure if it would prevent you from using any of your monkish abilities.
That would be about all that he would do. He would just kind of... Yeah, he's just kind of checking things out. Seeing where he's at. What he's working with.
After the hour goes by, you don't see Captain Eingard visit your cell, but you do see another face. Older gentleman, probably guess roughly in their 60s, 70s. Appears to be human. Kind of dark gray hair. Matted and kind of combed back. On the sides, you can see definitely grow out into these kind of like wild sideburns. Bit of a patchwork beard. And you can see these... Can't really discern too much in colors because of its the lighting situation. But you can see the robes are matte. They're one color, and they appear to be of a darker color, but you can't make out exactly what it is in this lighting. Because dark vision you only see in grays, I believe, but you see they're roughly about like 5'8", maybe like 5'9", and they come and stand in front of your cell. They don't let themselves in, but they just stand in front of it and just kind of stare at you for a little bit. About 5 minutes of silence. Maintaining eye contact unless you look away.
He would look at them just to acknowledge that they're there, but then he would turn his head and just stare at the wall in front of him.
And you hear this voice eventually reach out and go, "So, what is the plan here to avoid making any sort of contact until you are killed?" Or
Do
would
I
you like to
recognize
speak?
this? Do I recognize this voice?
Not particularly. Or at least not off the top of your head.
What'd he say again?
How is your plan to avoid any contact until you're killed, or would you like to speak?
Well, I'd like to speak if I could.
Wonderful.
If it...
Your name, what is it?
New Baron Uso.
Baranos. What are you doing in Paradise Peak, New Baranoso?
Just passing through.
Just passing through?
Yes.
Enjoying the sights.
I was.
And you somehow ended up here. How did that happen?
How I ended up here in this prison cell, I would like to know that as well.
See, on the topic of wanting to know things, I would like to know why were you at the Dambala estate last night? More importantly, I want to know why you killed James Doran.
And who said I was there? Who said I was even there and even did that?
That was his name, by the way, in case you didn't know. Did you know that?
What was his name again?
Smiles. See, it isn't very often that a Dambala asks you for help, especially not one of the seniority members. So I was very curious when I reached out to a man of my talents, and gotta be honest with you, you must be part golem. Balls of steel or brass or whatever kind of metal you are associated with to break into one of the most powerful men's houses. Not just in Paradise Peak, but in the Shrouded Isles. To kill a man, to steal from him, and to stay on the same island, to nevertheless stay in the guild hall of that island, the one in which vessels run amok within. I got to give it to you, man. You are crazy. Or you just simply don't care about dying. Which is it, New Baron also? Do you care about dying?
No.
No.
It doesn't really bother me any.
You don't? Not at all? You wouldn't mind if I stepped into the cell and slit your throat right now?
Wouldn't be much I could do to stop it now, would it?
You could simply give me the name of who sent you to kill James Doran, and honestly, they'd probably let you walk right now. It's all you're all they wanted. You wanted to know who sent you. A name, person. The group they're associated with. Give him that information and, well, I am sure he would be ever so grateful, as I would be.
He kind of leans back a little bit. It looks like he's thinking. Tries to make it look like he's thinking, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like, I just can't remember. I don't even know how I ended up in that guild hall, to be honest with you.
Oh, no. We don't care how you got there. No. We care about your employer. Because let me be frank with you, New Baron also. We don't care about you. Not really too much. You're a small fish who has jumped into a rather large pond and... Well, you are simply bait, really, now. Being used to get a much larger fish. But we are far more interested than you. So you just give us the name. Give us the name of your employer. Give us the location and... Well, who keeps track of bait nowadays? There's so many. Fish get lost all the time in streams, never mind the ocean.
Seems to be my MO here lately, to be honest. Jumping in a vast ocean.
Really? Well, tell me, would you like to swim in that lovely ocean of freedom or drown? Because frankly, we can be done with this in less than a minute. You just need to utter the name. Or I can pry it out of your skull. It is my specialty, you know. I don't think someone actually has successfully resisted my lovely charm in about, what are we now? 705 AD? Roughly about 80 years or so. If you would like to try to be the first, by all means, I will indulge you, but I have to warn you, the process is rather painful. And caring about dying is one thing, but caring about being tortured for hours on end, I mean, I can drag it up for days if I need to. I think my record is a week, 2 weeks. It's been so long, I would have to find out. But here I am doing all the talking. My apologies. Please, give me your answer.
Having heard that, he suddenly remembers what Grandpa did to him, killing him over and over and over and over.
And that was only a matter of minutes.
Yeah, just experiencing that. Knowing he definitely does not ever want to feel something like that again. This whole time he's kind of just been staring straight ahead at the wall, not paying him any attention, but he turns his head to him and looks at him. And he says, I'm sure you know more about me than you're leading on. And I'm sure you know I don't always get all the information. I can't tell you who the person works for. I don't know that much. I can give you a name. That's about all I can give you.
What name would that be?
DM, you'll have to help me because it's been a while.
Sure. Who you gonna try and give?
The guy that showed up later to help, I can't remember his name.
I don't think he gave you his name.
I can't remember.
I'm gonna be so honest. I don't think Ivar gave you his name.
I'll go with whatever you say, because it's been, like I said, it's been so long, I really don't remember. But,
go ahead. I'll say go ahead and make me a history check with disadvantage.
Okay.
And if you're successful, Greg, go ahead and give me a deception check.
Disadvantage roll. Yeah, probably not gonna succeed.
Nah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Something with an E, maybe. You're drawing blanks.
Let me backtrack that a little bit then. And instead of giving a name, instead of saying that he has a name, he tries to give a good description of what he looked like.
With a 6? Not kidding.
Oh.
You just saw him. He kind of lets out a little laugh as you attempt to give a description.
Listen, a lot of people can be very creative when they are making up excuses, you know. I mean, this one time, when I was training to become a interpreter, I made up this large excuse that on my way to class, I was trying to learn what is it? Primordial. So many different subsections of primordial. You wouldn't believe it. You got the earth, the air, the fire, all these different types of elementals talk differently, but I got distracted. A beautiful woman. Well, I was late. And they ended up missing a rather important part of the lecture. Didn't learn a lot of foundations to this language, and well, I needed an excuse. So do you know what I did? I stabbed myself in my shoulder, cut down 2 inches, 3 inches. Said I got mugged. They asked for a description, and while I gave this large, hulking man, said the orc, full-blooded orc, could have been 8 foot tall, ran in, stabbed me, stole my money, left me. What about my life? Nothing really changed. Till about 3 months later, I got a message to come into one of the local holding cells. Said they caught my mugger. Little did I know there was this orcish man sitting in the prison, sitting in a cell similar to you. You know what? I felt really guilty at the time. My white lie imprisoned a free man. And if I said I didn't know this man and I lied, well, I would be kicked out of the academy. And I was trying to become a well-reputable vassal. And, hard to do that when you have a spotty record with the council. So I said it was him. He denied it, but, with my standing, he didn't get much of a trial. I still think about him every so now and then. Poor man. Imprisoned by just a description. You look at... to let me ramble again, my friend. I'm going to need a name. And if you can provide it, your memories will.
Then I just have one more question for you.
Oh, by all means.
You mentioned by giving you this name, the chances of me walking out of here are higher.
Certainly higher than if you tried to lie and hide from me, yes. I mean, you already have spent a large amount of my time. I'm a very valuable man. So, I mean, if you give me the name now, we can discuss what could happen to you, yes. But, I mean, you keep wasting it, and, well, tick-tock, no Baron also.
Fine. He'll shift his weight and kind of turn what he can, his whole body, towards the door to look at the gentleman. I'm from
Elves.
I'm from the Shadowfell. I'm not from this area, obviously.
Really?
The
Oh
group.
my goodness.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I thought we were just. I'm wearing red shoes today. I don't know if you can tell that because it is dark in here. But I thought we were stating obvious things. Name?
The group I work for is the Red Eclipse. The person I work for, he goes by the Grandmaster. I don't know his real name. That's just what we call him in this group. He is the
ordered
one.
you to kill James Doran.
He is the one that sends us out to do the bidding. We don't ask why. We don't ask who put the hit out on the person.
Did a man by the name of the Grand Master task you to kill James Doran?
Yes.
Go ahead and give me a deception check.
I'm trying.
Man, no. Weave your narrative, my man. I'm here for it.
Okay. Deception. Not bad.
New rolls like a god. 19? Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, even with that roll, it is stacked against you. This man has expertise and insight.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up to a total of a +9.
Oh my gosh.
He only needs to roll a 10 or higher. But there is the slightest chance of failure. It's about a 45 to 55 ratio of success. Go ahead, roll it. Roll 20. Raw D20 plus 9. Oh. 22. You see, he nods along while you're describing this. You know, the Red Eclipse. I have heard about this group before, you know. It is kind of like ghost stories that you tell children. Behave, or the Red Eclipse will come and kill you, or they'll take you and drag you to the Shadowfell. But do you know what I call those type of stories?
Go ahead. I'm waiting.
I like the back and forth. I'm just talking to myself. It's not a conversation. I love to call those types of stories a bullshit. Because the Red Eclipse, I mean, they're run out of the Shadowfell, and your kind don't often come around here. Mainly because you can't. I don't know how you crossed across the realms. You certainly don't appear to be a caster, so someone had to send you. Or perhaps a rift was opened and you waltzed through. But last I checked, the Grandmaster, or whatever you like to call him, still resides within the Shadowfell. And wanting a ex-Herald member under the employ of a Damballa doesn't make a lot of sense. So you've lied to me twice, no Baron, also. And I would say, a lesser man you probably would have fooled. So you must be pretty decent at what you do. And as a man who takes pride in what he does for a living, I respect that. So I hope you can respect what comes next. And he opens the cell door. Begins to walk over towards you. You see, cracks his knuckles. Not in the, normal way of cracking overhand. He intertwines his fingers and flexes outward. Gets down right at face level and smears his entire hand over your face, grabbing it. And you just feel this pulse echo throughout your body, like very similar to what it feels like to being struck by like a blunt object. No physical blow. The hand itself doesn't actually feel like the pressure he's exerting is hurting. But there's just that like full body impact. Like you just got hit by a perfectly like brick-shaped New Baranoso. And I need you to go ahead and make me a wisdom saving throw. Our exhaustion's gone, so it's not a disadvantage, but holy shit.
Yeah.
That's a success. Feel the pulse, the pain. You take a deep breath and exhale, and your body was stiffening up, and you can feel your joints locking. Slowly begins to relax. See this wide smile begin to cross his face. Very reminiscent of the Grinch smile. A challenge. New Barondoso. He takes a step away and he puts his hands together and he bows to you. I thank you for the opportunity. It has been a long time since someone has resisted me. Todo me. Contractor may not appreciate it. I do love lengthy projects. And as he reaches into his belt and rolls out a familiar kit of tools to you, all of which are torture implements. Smile grows wider, and you feel that second reach into your mind, although this time it's not physical. It is just him staring at you intently, and a throbbing beginning to insert into your head. You can feel a bit of blood beginning to trickle out of your nose and ears and your eyes as you just try and maintain any state of consciousness that you can. And that's where you're going to end tonight's session.
Oh, dang.
Jail 2 Electric Boogaloo!
Jail 2 Electric Boogaloo. All I gotta say is, I'm very surprised that New was ride or die for that, considering that you just lost a point of sanity for suffering that. For suffering the
I
multiple
know.
deaths. And you just said, fuck it, we ball, I'll do it again.
He's strong to his word, if anything. He may be a terrible person, but
No,
he's not
I'm
gonna.
impressed.
Yeah, he's not gonna roll over easy.
I am impressed.
I tried to divert it to the people that are chasing him, but that didn't.
Honestly, that was a really good attempt.
Yeah.
If he rolled lower,
Mhm.
100%, it would have been a jump, and it definitely probably wouldn't have gotten you off the hook, but it would have bought you more time,
Right.
and it would have gotten him off your case, at least for now. So it was a good attempt. It was a really good attempt. It was also really fucking smart, because then that could have been a potential like aid off of your back for being chased.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
That's
I
crazy.
cannot believe this.
What a great welcome back session. I'm sorry it had to be this way, but
It's okay.
Welcome back,
we
my
have
beloved
progressed.
players. Throw you in jail.
We have progressed 72 hours in the span of like 3 months. So I needed to move things along. This is supposed to happen way earlier, but I love respecting RP because you guys love talking to each other. That's a good thing. It's a good thing. It means that you're enraptured by each other's stories and decisions.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah, I am.
And making fun of each other for making deals with beings.
I'm so worried about Kipley right now. I'm so worried.
I'd be worried about yourself too.
Well, whatever. I'll just make a new character. But I don't know. It's different when it's someone else.
When it's
Hey.
someone that's been there since the beginning. Same character.
I'm worried about all of you, and I'm the one that has to make the decisions.
I mean, you could just let us all go.
Could I?
Everybody gets a slap on the wrist. Don't do it again.
Naughty, naughty, finger wag. No, I thought about potential like punishments and like how if it did end up being like a trial like statement after the public found out, I did think about how that would go, and I did do a little bit of research, and I'm prepared for it to go a lot of different ways. But it also is kind of dependent on roles and how well you do. Because let me tell you, people have a lot of spell slots. And you need to succeed on a lot of whiz saves and a lot of just a lot in general. Captain Eingard, probably the nicest interaction you're gonna get in a while. He didn't use Zone of Truth or anything. That was just him asking.
Trusted you guys to tell the truth.
Well, it wasn't just he trusted you to tell the truth. It was like he thought that you would understand your position and that you would recognize telling the truth is the only way you're going to save your ass. He just expected you to give up a bigger fish, of be like, just straight up, please tell me that there was someone bigger than you forcing you to do this. And when Kipley said no, he lost all hope.
I tried to set that one up for her. God. I should have known.
If you lie and then he catches you on it, it doesn't help. It needed to be convincing enough. And she rolled like shit. So it was never easy to.
We were doomed from the start.
There was still a chance. There was still a chance. You rolled like a 16 at disadvantage.
I mean, yeah, she's got 3 levels of exhaustion and a dislocated arm. Like, what's she gonna do? Bat her eyebrows at him? Or bat her eyebrows? Bat her eyelashes?
Bat her eyebrows.
It's a nice,
it's
nice
a skill.
fancy trick.
Oh my god.
It's one of those party tricks.
Yeah. So, and Mustang, you can probably, over time, you will probably put this together. But the reason why he didn't, or not Mustang, Ash, the reason why Captain Eingard insisted that you stay in the library of all places, was just to keep you in the guild hall because it was bugged. So he just wanted to get into
I figured. I was like, I bet they already know she's here, but
Now,
Mustang's not that smart.
Keep in mind, he is probably the best person to be in that situation. But also, you did directly talk about potentially, fighting your way out of this.
No, he made it very clear that that was not what he intended.
Or also running from this. You said you would face the music, so that's why.
Face the music meant facing the punishment, the legal punishment.
No. Let me finish. That's why you got the humane treatment of you and Mammoth being put in just a room and not a cell. Is because you sounded like the more understanding of the group. Meanwhile, he was just listening to Kipley burn a fucking hole and dig her own fucking grave for like 30 minutes.
Oh man.
Oh, okay.
Chat, are we screwed right now?
Chat, I think we're cooked.
Chat, are we cooked? Chat.
No.
Level 0 Riz.
But also, that's why he wanted, was adamant about having you repeat the same things because he heard you say it in the same modicum, but if one of you lied when he asked the other, then clearly he can't trust the main source. And then he asked about the Monarch of Mischief, and Kipley said, jack shit. And he was like, oh no. It only goes downhill from here. Did you think it was Robert at first, New?
No,
From the voice? Okay.
no. I couldn't figure out. Just by the way it was coming off, it sounded like it might be someone that he knew. He
I
didn't
see.
think it was Robert right away, but he was thinking it
No,
might be someone from the same church.
I thought Brian thought that it was
Oh.
a character that like you knew and that you were confused. And I was like, I don't think Robert was French. I'm gonna be real. I tried to choose a different accent to not confuse him, and I think I failed.
Oh no, I'm easily confused, so don't worry about that.
Oh no, but
But I did think it was someone from the church. I knew it wasn't Robert.
Let me see. Ba.
Just because of the
No,
description of the robes.
let me tell you, I love this man. He's awful, but I love him. There he is. You only saw the black and white version of this, but I'll post this picture anyway. I don't think you got his name. Right? I didn't give you the guy that was talking to you in your cell's name, right?
No.
Okay. DOS is good. DOS is good. Visuals, we're just gonna put this as new Baron Torturer. We'll put Interrogator. Since that's
Torturer, interrogator, I mean...
well, he wasn't gonna torture you if you told him stuff.
Well, I told him stuff, just...
Just the wrong information. There you go.
Oh, interesting.
He's slightly older
Whoa.
than the actual picture, but
Yeah, I gotcha.
it's
Oh.
pretty straight on for the rest of the build.
Nice.
There. So luscious. What conditioner does he use?
I have to dive into your mind to find out how you take care of those locks, girl.
Yeah. Don't hold out on a sister.
Oh my god. I'm being tortured not knowing the routine. Yeah.
Damn, you guys. We're so good.
We'll get out of it
Oh.
somehow, some way.
I mean, you got options. Some of you do at least. Some of you are screwed. 100% but you're screwed. But we'll see. We'll see how that unravels. I'm just glad that we had a session, guys.
Heck yeah.
It's so nice to have everyone back. It sounds like the holidays was pretty brutal for everyone, but I'm glad we're all back together to, share in the jihad or whatever.
Oh, wild statement.
What?
Do not agree.
What? The jihad, the suffering.